Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift. Or for some fabulous ideas, see the online seasonal gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant for the ultimate convenience. Whether you connect online or in person, you're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. And to help make your purchase even more affordable, we've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to maximize your investment. The rising prices on vinyl siding has made Hardie Siding a great alternative. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
Are you ready to smell better naked? I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the OBGYN creator of Lumi, the whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, and beyond. It's pH optimized to safely and effectively control odor anywhere you have it, but wish you didn't. Plus, it's proven to work better than a shower with soap alone. Whether you shower twice a day or 3 times a week, Lumi works better. And did we mention it's aluminum free? With over 200,000 5-star reviews, I'm so sure you're going to love it, or you can return it for free.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code RADIO20 and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code RADIO20. LUME deodorant.com, code RADIO20 for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. Love it or return it for free. That's LUME deodorant.com, code RADIO20.
This holiday season, give them a steal. Save $30 on the GTA 26 battery-powered garden pruner. Go to steelusa.com/gift guide. Now $149.99 was $179.99 MSRP. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
I can see clearly now thanks to the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and introducing Samuel Berry. You can too. Call 314-966-5000 or check out youridoc.com. That's youridoc.com.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Happy Monday. Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. Thanks for being with us here on a holiday weekend. I guess this is, what would you call this? The Monday after Thanksgiving. Was this Thanksgiving Monday or is that the Monday before Thanksgiving? I guess it's...
I don't know if there's really either.
I think we should determine it. We get to decide if it doesn't exist.
It's a lot of power.
That's not Brad. That's Ethan. So we knew Ryan was going to be out today because he had an extra day. He was traveling for the holiday, and so he had scheduled today off. And Brad is out today. He is feeling a little bit under the weather. Says he's going to try to be back tomorrow. So they were dropping like flies. And we've got Leah, who has been putting together the whole show all morning. And Ethan came in here about an hour ago and is helping us. So we want your support. I think we're doing... Right now, Ethan, I think we're doing okay.
I think we're holding our own.
We've got actually, Leah, we've got a pretty big show scheduled for today. Jim Carafano is going to be here in about 15 minutes, and I wanted to talk to Jim about the hostage situation, the exchange, how this has been put together, how we are going about getting which hostages back. I know there's some Americans that have been included. There are some very bittersweet stories coming out of these hostages being returned. we heard John Kirby say, he basically says, we don't have any, we're not participating in the curating of the list of which hostages are going to be released. I kind of want, to me, that's like, what do you mean we're not involved in that? Why are we not participating in that? Jim Carafano will answer that question for us. And I also want to know if Hamas is agreeing to this exchange, what does Hamas get out of it? Because they're getting some of the prisoners of war, I don't even know what they're called, that Israel is keeping. I'm sure Hamas would refer to those people as hostages. They're getting their people back. Israel is getting some of their people back. It doesn't seem to me like Hamas is super interested in the humanitarian part of this, so it seems as though there's probably a benefit to Hamas to participate in this momentary ceasefire while these hostages are being exchanged. I have some thoughts on what Hamas's benefit would be, but I want to talk to Jim Carafano about that in about 12, 15 minutes, so stick around. That's going to be at 12:25. Steve Moore is going to talk to us at 1:05. The expert in economics at the Heritage Foundation. And I'm going to ask him what I'm asking you today, which is the YouTube live chat poll question. How has the 2023 economy affected your Christmas preparation? I'm sure that you have bought a Christmas present already.
And I'm sure that if you haven't finished your purchasing of Christmas presents already, and I know that some of you exist out there. I know that there are people who exist who have completed their Christmas shopping. Ethan, do you have any Christmas shopping left to do?
I do have a little bit left to do. I did get a good portion of it wrapped up on Black Friday.
You completed or?
No pun intended.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it finished. This was the first year I graduated college, not too long ago. And this is the first year that I feel like I'm like, oh, wow, I got to go and get gifts on Black Friday. I got to make sure I get good deals and all this stuff, where I was really very attentive to all of that. So I did get a good portion of it done. I have a little bit left.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I might surf the web a little bit this afternoon, with it being Cyber Monday too. So.
Yeah, with Brad and Ryan both being out, if the 2 o'clock hour is completely just us searching for deals on Cyber Monday, then you know that we're just grasping at straws. Which won't be the case, because in the 2 o'clock hour, I'm very excited for this. And Leah, I'm going to ask you to watch comments on the YouTube Live as they come in, because Katie and Jesse Johnson from STS Armory, they're the owners there.
One of my favorite partners that I have here on this show. I endorse them, and they sponsor us. And they're going to be in studio for the first couple segments of the 2 o'clock hour. We're going to talk about podcasts that we released on Thanksgiving, and then I'm going to now release them once again, get you in the habit. So I wanted you to get a taste of what we're doing with STS. So the episodes are out there right now, but we're going to release them on Saturdays, and we've got 3 episodes in the can, and it's about practical prepping and the idea of being prepared. And Jesse says this in one of the episodes, which I really appreciated. He said, the word prepping kind of has a connotation to it. He likes to look at it as readiness, and I think that that's a very smart way to approach it. And for people who are thinking, good grief, if we had an ice storm, and I remember, do either of you guys remember the ice storm? I want to say it was in, my guess is 2006.
Yes, I do remember it.
I don't.
You don't remember it? Everything was encased in ice. It was like Elsa had a fit.
There was power gone everywhere, right?
Power was, yeah. And I think I knew a couple people in my family who had generators, and they were in a position to not fret. It was still complicated because trees were breaking apart and falling on power lines as the ice continued to wreak its havoc, and you couldn't go anywhere or do anything because there was ice everywhere. So you needed to have, if you were prepared in that moment to be on your own for 3 days, a week, you were not freaking out the way those who were not prepared at all had to figure out how to make life continue to happen when the world stood still.
I think about what it would be like for me now, just the busyness. Sometimes you end up having you're starting to get thin in the fridge. You got to make a store run.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being at that point, and then all of a sudden you're closed in for 3 days and be like, okay.
The worst timing.
Yeah.
Like if you grocery shop on Tuesdays,
Exactly.
you're not old enough to you don't have a grocery shopping day, do you?
No, it kind of just varies when I need it. It's like, okay, it's time.
Leah, do you have a grocery shopping day?
My family does.
Your family does.
Sundays after church.
But you still live with your family, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm going to allow that.
Okay.
But I mean, the day that you're like, oh, we grocery shop on Thursdays, then you've made it to like the next level of life.
You think that's gonna be like I don't know, I'm getting married this summer. You think that'll start once I get married? You think?
Depends on what she says.
Yeah.
Does she have a grocery shopping day?
Yes.
You got a good woman. Yeah, that's just about routine. And then you have kids, and then the whole thing gets
hectic.
I mean, honestly, in our family, we live close enough to a convenient grocery shopping. Like, we will grocery shop on the weekends. But if you need to go pick something up, that could happen every day.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's a lot. Leah, when you think about, tornadoes that come through, tornadoes are so like hyper local. It's not like a whole town can be. God forbid another Joplin happens. I went to clean up in Joplin after that tornado hit with our church, and my husband and I went, and it was life-changing for me to see what the hand of God can do. But if you have a tornado, you're going to have a specific area, you're going to be out of power, but you're going to be around people who have power. And once the roads get clear, you can get to food and all that stuff. But really bad snowstorms or anything like that, like, have you thought about what if I couldn't leave my house for a week? You think you're prepared for that?
Personally, no. I think it helps that I still live at home because I think my parents would be better prepared than I would be.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was by myself, I don't know.
It's a different mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you have littles, you have to think about that. I remember
those are the things you don't think about until you're in the moment, especially someone that's never, Lee and I have never really personally had to experience something where it's like, oh, you need to have that backup preparation almost to make us have that mindset.
Yep.
Until then, it's like it's not really something that's on the forefront of your mind, really.
So what Katie and Jesse from STS Armory and I are doing with this practical prepping podcast that we're adding to the Annie Frey Show podcast, and it's going to end up being uploaded on the weekend. So you get your normal Annie Frey Show uploads, like when we talk to Jim Carafano at 12:25. We have Brian Kilmeade at 1:25. Super excited to talk to him. He's going to be in town on Friday, and hopefully I'll see you and Brian Kilmeade at the event on Friday. We're going to talk to him about coming to St. Louis, but just about the things that are going on in the world and his new book that's out, Teddy and Booker T, How Two American Icons Blazed a Path for Racial Equality. Very interesting conversation. Very good Christmas gift idea if you still haven't completed that. But those interviews go up on our Annie Frey Show podcast, and each segment every day goes up on the podcast. You can get them wherever. I'm not going to list all the places. If you listen to podcasts, our podcast is where you listen to podcasts. But we're going to start putting some stuff in on the weekend, which normally we wouldn't have anything that gets put out on the weekend. And this is going to be one of those things. So subscribe to the podcast and you'll get the practical prepping episodes that come in on Saturday. And we just, the first episode that we did was a little bit longer to kind of set the table. And then we did 2 additional episodes, and they're like 10 to 15 minute condensed.
Easy listens.
One subject. Like if you're going to work, you could listen to this podcast. If you're not listening to 97.1, if you're exercising or something like that, you could throw this podcast on 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and you learn a single thing that you can do, a measurable thing that you can do to be prepared. For instance, like what kind of documents you need to have just in a safe place somewhere. Or what kind of medical supplies or knowledge, basic stuff that you could learn right now. And those things, I mean, other than maybe a document fee at a courthouse or something like that, those are things you can do that don't cost you anything. Now, there are a lot of things you can do that cost you a lot of money, like buying a generator, which is something I really want to do but haven't done yet because it's very expensive. So Katie and Jesse will be in studio in the 2:00 hour, but they also own STS Armory, and so it's a gun store. So we're going to talk about the Illinois AR law, where that stands. We're going to talk about any questions that you have. You just get on the Annie Frey YouTube channel and you can vote on the YouTube live chat poll. in the live chat section where it says, how has the 2023 economy affected your Christmas preparation, positively, negatively, or not at all? Vote, leave a comment there. We'll set those comments aside. And then, Hannah, we can also set aside any comments that people have for Katie and Jesse when they come in studio. We'll do a little ask them anything.
Did you catch yourself?
What did I say?
You called her Hannah?
Hannah? No, that's how you know I'm in autopilot.
Yeah, I get it.
Leah. No, I did not even know. Oh my gosh. Hi, Hannah. Leah. So there is a that's why I wanted to have Leah and Ethan in here to start the show off, because there is a natural flow to what we do in a studio every day. We're talking to thousands of people every day right here on the Annie Frey Show, but where we sit, I'm talking to 2 people,
right?
Maybe 3 people on Fridays. It's pandemonium and the clown car is in the studio. But there is so much of what I do where I am talking, like it's a skill that I've had to build over time. I talk, but I'm also doing other things while I'm talking that are the next thing. So it's like this constant state of on deck. I had no idea that I said Hannah.
No, it's okay. Today's one of those days. I wasn't even going to correct you because I understand.
No, you should. You should.
I just think you're so used to like one thing for so long, and all of a sudden it's like, bam,
yeah.
things
But it's
change,
been a while. I haven't talked. I talked to Hannah, but I haven't talked to her on the air in a while.
Hi, Hannah.
So I wanted to ask you real quick. We're going to take a break here in a second and get to Jim Carafano. Leah, how was your Thanksgiving holiday? Did you get to relax a little bit, take some time off?
Yeah, it was fun. We had a good time at Golden Corral because that was the one thing we were doing.
Did you enjoy Golden Corral?
Yeah, I recently started like a really strict diet, so I was a little nervous going in there. I was like, oh no, I really hope I can stick to this diet.
You didn't break it for Thanksgiving?
So I had one piece of pie. But my entire meal was like meat and vegetables and salad. And then I awarded myself one piece of pie.
Yeah.
Because I did work out that morning too. I forgot about that. I worked out. I did a CrossFit workout that morning, and then we went to Golden Corral. So
was Golden Corral busy?
Yes. There was a line like way out into the parking lot.
Really?
Yeah, we were standing in line for like 45 minutes before we got in. Yeah.
So, Ethan, what about you?
Yeah, so we celebrated at home this year, and a very simple celebration. But I cannot relate in the being disciplined category.
Do you just black out and eat for a weekend?
I was so full that I couldn't eat dessert.
Oh, really?
I was like, and I don't do that to myself. I'm like, I'm going to like make myself feel so full.
No, you're a lean looking guy.
Thank you, so kind of you. So, but Thanksgiving is just that. I feel like that one meal a year where it's just, and for me, it's the best meal of the year.
Yeah.
So it was like, man, I gotta absolutely stuff myself, and I did. And did my stomach regret it? Yes, but did my heart regret it? No, Annie.
You were committed, fully committed.
I was committed.
Yeah, I saw Ethan walking outside of the studios here by our offices, and he had a big bowl of veggies. And I go, look at you. I said, that bowl looks terrible.
It was.
Yeah. But did you eat it?
I ate it.
I said you're a better man than I.
Did you ask him if he ate it? What would he just be walking around carrying it? Like, look at me.
No, I could listen, Leah.
That's some Wiggin sass right there.
I know, I like it. There are a lot of people who would make themselves a bowl of vegetables to take to work with the greatest intentions in the morning and get to that bowl of vegetables and be like, nah. Listen, comment on the YouTube if you understand what I'm talking about. You did say you cooked them in butter.
A little bit, yeah, a touch of butter.
Yeah.
Because otherwise,
you got to eat them.
Otherwise, it's just
torture.
Basically, steamed vegetables is just gross.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Jim Carafano is going to join us. I got questions about what's going on in Israel and what the United States' role is. Are we just standing by and watching and hoping and praying that something good happens, or are we participants? We'll talk to Jim Carafano about it when we come back. Stick around. A lot more Annie Frey Show right around the corner.
Merry little Christmas now.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
Has anyone ever taken the time to help you at a point in your life when you were in desperate need? How did that make you feel toward the person that helped you? The word gratitude comes to mind. Hi, I'm Martin Winslow, founder and president of Bethlehem Christian Academy. Through the years, I've met so many children that have gratitude toward those who helped them through their child sponsorships. Currently, BCA has 2,000 students spread over 4 countries, full of children filled with gratitude toward those who've helped them. But there continues to be great need. BCA's ministry is transforming lives by feeding and educating poor and orphan children in some of the poorest places in Africa and South Asia. Here's how you can help. For just $36 a month, you can offer these kids hope of a better future, but more importantly, give them the opportunity to learn about Jesus. You can also join us on a mission trip to one of our several school locations overseas and meet the child you sponsor. Remember that feeling of gratitude you had toward the person who helped you out? Wouldn't you like to pass that feeling on to someone else? To find out more about how you can get involved with BCA's ministry, please visit bcaministries.com. That's bcaministries.com.
While no child should have to spend the holidays in the hospital, there are many at SSM Health Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital who will not be able to experience the joy of opening gifts around their tree. Please join 97.1 FM Talk and give the gift of hope and healing to Cardinal Glennon kids and support the Tree of Hope year-end giving campaign. Your gift ensures these brave patients can continue to receive the critical care they need during these challenging times. Thank you for giving at treeofhope.org.
Okay, so you filed your taxes this year, but you know you have past IRS issues. And now the IRS letters are coming. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Don't ignore those IRS letters. They're important and give you rights and deadlines to defend yourself. Waiting could cause you to lose those rights. Call the Lance Drury Law Firm now and let us help you get ahead of the IRS and defend your rights while you still have time. The Lance Drury Law Firm is located here in St. Louis, so take the first step and hire a tax resolution attorney. We've made it super easy to schedule your free consultation in person, or you can do a phone call and save travel time. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm. Call today at 314-238-7360. That's 314-238-7360. Or go visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
How would you like to come home to a bartender who will fix you any cocktail you want?
I'll have an old-fashioned.
I'll have a margarita.
Now you can with the Bartesian Home Cocktail Maker. Bartesian is a sleek machine the size of a coffee maker that makes premium cocktails at the touch of a button. Choose from over 50 different cocktails, from classics to the most exotic premium cocktails served in the best bars today. You'll always get freshly mixed, perfectly balanced cocktails with the Bartesian Cocktail Maker. And now, get Bartesian's best holiday deal ever when you go to bartesian.com/sips. Entertaining? The Bartesian is ideal for parties. No need to stock all kinds of individual mixers for complicated recipes. Every guest gets the cocktail of their choice in seconds. The Bartesian makes a wonderful gift for anyone who loves a fine premium cocktail. Now get Bartesian's best holiday deal ever. It's available right now only at bartesian.com/sips. That's BARTESIAN.com/sips for Bartesian's best holiday deal ever. Only at bartesian.com/sips.
At Neovitin, we are all about supporting your nutrition, and that's why we are excited about our new Neovitin Omega-3 supplement. Neovitin Omega-3 is formulated with 1,200 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids to help support healthy hearts. Our high-quality omega-3 fish oils are sourced from wild-caught fish and tested for heavy metals. With our convenient monthly subscription, you can get Neovitin Omega-3 delivered right to your door every month with no long-term obligations. Support your daily nutrition and sign up for a Neovitin Omega-3 subscription at neovitin.com today.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 54 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
97.1 FM Talk. You're here, and so are St. Louis's conservative thought leaders. St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
I feel like new sunglasses.
Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
We've had this pause. We're now halfway through a 4-day pause. It may be extended if there's release of more. You had opposed the idea of a permanent ceasefire. Do you still oppose the idea of a permanent ceasefire?
No, I think we need a lasting ceasefire now. And I came out for that a few days ago. I'll tell you why. Couple reasons. First, We need more of the hostages to be released, and we've seen now that it's working. Second, there's still Americans in Gaza. We need those Americans and American families to be released. The third point is this. Israel has diminished Hamas's military capability. They now have troops to prevent another October 7th attack. Here's the reality on the ground. There are 40,000 Hamas fighters, 40,000. Israel has killed 2,000. It is unrealistic that they're going to be able to kill 40,000 other Hamas fighters, let alone undermine the political and cultural influence of Hamas. So we need a real solution, and that needs to be a Palestinian state with an Israeli state.
All right, well, let's just do that. Let's just get that Palestinian state all worked up. We've got a guest here, Jim Carafano, on with us, senior counselor to the president and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. Is it that simple, Jim? Can we just get that Palestinian state all put together and everybody's happy?
Well, first of all, happy belated Thanksgiving. Cutest family pictures ever. Thank you.
Thank you.
Look, I remember back the same people that are demanding a two-state solution in Israel were the people that were demanding that we sanction and ostracize and even some of them remove Assad in Syria. And so I sprinkle my magic dust and I create your two-state solution for you. What do you have as a state? You have a country that is sworn to the destruction of Israel, a tool of Iran, a state sponsor of terrorism, and thoroughly corrupt, and it will oppress, exploit, and oppress its own people. That sounds just like Syria. So, I mean, it's just a stupid idea because it's completely impractical and unworkable. Here's the reality of what's going to happen. The Israelis are going to, they'll exchange the hostages. This war will apparently wind down. The Israelis are going to seal off Gaza. That's by the way, going to really significantly enhance the humanitarian crisis because 70% of the revenue that went into Gaza were people crossing over and working on the Israeli side, and so that's not going to happen. And so they can protect themselves. Then we're going to have this massive humanitarian crisis. Nobody's going to want refugees, so nobody's leaving, and people are going to have to struggle to figure out how they can help do the humanitarian crisis and not put Hamas right there it was before. But this kind of war is not going to happen again because the Israelis, they built this air barrier so you can't shoot missiles and rockets and stuff. That's going to be paired with a land barrier. So nobody can walk across and kidnap 3-year-old children anymore.
I'm listening to the politics side of this, and I know you do policy, not politics, but I'd imagine that I'd be worried that the policy was going to be affected. I feel as though the Biden administration, in their words, has been very resolute about supporting Israel, but it seems as though now there are people who are shaming the president for doubting the death numbers from the Hamas news reports, and they're saying you need to trust them. How could you dare disrespect them that way? And it seems as though he's capitulated.
Yeah, look, if this president was resolute, this war would have never happened to begin with, and it's not just Hamas. The one thing you have to realize is the root and branch of this war is in Iran. There would not be a war today if Iran had not greenlight and supported and built the Hamas military and used it as a weapon against Israel. And this administration's policy is to engage and moderate the behavior of Iran. So that failed. And having completely and utterly failed, in the middle of this war, they actually give Iran a $10 billion payout. Now, here's what the administration is going to do. They're going to say, the war is winding down. Hostages are being returned. It's showing that our policy is working. And so their policy is going to be to engage Iran even more. So it's literally like giving the arsonist a lighter for Christmas. If they celebrated Christmas in the regime in Tehran, which they probably don't.
They probably don't. We're speaking with
a lighter for Ramadan.
There you go. Jim Carafano, senior counselor to the president and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. How big is your business card, by the way? That is a big, awesome title.
It doesn't mean very much, but
don't tell people that. Jim, I look at this hostage agreement that somebody's brokered, Israel has brokered. Kirby said at a press conference that they don't really have any say or involvement in the names that are included in who gets released. And in the midst of this, and I'm all for whatever it takes to get these hostages, but I guess we're giving Hamas a lot of time right now, too. What is the impact of this ceasefire and this hostage exchange?
Well, look, I mean, this was always a branch in the war. I mean, remember, Hamas intentionally took hostages at the beginning of the conflict. So this was always a potential outcome, which is the off-ramp, which is they trade hostages to wind the war down. Now, another way this could have gone is there could have been a second front in Lebanon, and the war could have mushroomed into a larger war, but that didn't happen. So now Hamas essentially is giving away hostages in order to kind of wind the conflict down. That's a wasting asset. When they give away their last hostages, essentially the conflict has to come to an end because Hamas has nothing to trade at that point. So I think that's where, this is headed.
Should we have more influence at this point in how these things are negotiated? Is the right thing to do to pull back and let Israel dictate this? Because Americans are involved.
I think the real issue for us is Iran policy. And unless we can contain and limit Iran, then this is just the crisis before the next crisis. And the Iranian regime is committed to revolution. And the Iranian revolution envisions a caliphate run by Iran that runs a radical Islamist world, covering all the geographical space of the previous Islamic and the Ottoman Empire, I guess. The number one thing that the regime has to preserve to do that is the preservation of the regime itself. So that is the thing that the Tehran regime holds most sacred, is their own preservation. And so ironically, what we find is the more pressure and threats you bring against the Iranians, the tamer and the calmer they behave because they're worried about the survival of the regime, which if that's true, which it is, it tells you that everything Biden is doing is exactly wrong because he's enabling and empowering them. So he's just buying into more problems in the future. And my greatest fear is the administration is going to walk away from this and say, oh, we were just brilliant. We wound the war down. We got the hostages back. It just shows everything we're doing is working when actually it shows that everything you're doing is exactly not working.
On Joe Scarborough's show, he says that if Joe Biden wasn't the president, that we would be spiraling into World War III. And then there's some threats about if Donald Trump were still president.
Yeah, it's all nonsense.
Compared to me, if we have that choice ahead of us, but we also have that choice behind us. We know what it was like when Trump was president, and we know what it's like now that Joe Biden's president. Who's more of a threat to World War III?
When Trump was president, I mean, again, not Republican, not Democrat. It's just, I was alive then. There were no wars in the Middle East, and the Iranians were terrified of Trump, and they completely backed down. There were no wars in Europe. China wasn't threatening to take over Taiwan. Look, peace through strength works. Now, again, not the world's babysitter, not in a regime change, not a nation building, but the reality is when America demonstrates it's willing to protect its interests, and it's everybody's clear what those interests are, people back off and get the heck out of our way. And okay, maybe that's not how the world should work. Maybe we should all hold hands and dance in circles with flowers in our hair. But the reality is bad people in the world, they fear people who are stronger than them, and you should want to be those people.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the flowers circle dancing thing was plan A, and I think we've moved past that to plan B, C, or D. If President Trump, if a Republican with Trump America First policies on the Middle East, Abraham Accord success, not yanking ourselves out of Afghanistan the way the Biden administration does, in that amount of time, we've got 11 months or so till the election. Can this drastically change with just the immediate result of a different party in charge or a different policy in charge coming out of Washington, D.C.?
The short answer is yes. I will put there's one issue that will be very, very difficult for a conservative president and a peace restraint president, and it's this. Every defense buildup that we've ever done was done through deficit spending. We have today a completely unsustainable deficit. So how do you rebuild reorient our military. And I know everybody's got their quick, we don't defend this, we don't fight there, we don't need this, we get rid of that. None of that's going to work, right? We're going to need a strong military, and we're going to need to build one without bankrupting ourselves. That is a real challenge. I don't know how a Republican president will work through that, but it won't be a problem under Biden because he's just going to let our military wither on the vine, and as long as they have their quota of drag queen shows, on military bases, they're probably good.
Last question. We're speaking with Jim Carafano right now. You brought up building back the military. I noticed they dropped the COVID vaccine requirement. What are your thoughts on that move? What does it signal that they were willing to do that, and will it help build our military back to the strength it needs to be at?
It just shows it was a political sham to begin with. And this is the one thing, I was in the military for 25 years. And yeah, do people play politics in the military? Yeah, sure. But I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen, there is no shame in this administration. Department of Justice, Homeland Security, Border Security, the U.S. military. There is no instrument of government that they won't weaponize for political ends. It is the most shameless governance I've ever seen in my lifetime. I've never seen a government, even the Obama administration, who literally it's the same people and doing the same things, but even they were afraid to be as unleashed in weaponizing government against America's interests as these guys are.
It looks like it's had a global impact as well.
Absolutely.
It has. Jim, we appreciate you. I hope you had a lovely Thanksgiving as well with your family and your grandbabies or whomever you got to celebrate it with. Always love having you here.
Well, thanks for squeezing me in this week.
Oh,
all right.
We appreciate you very much. Bye-bye. The senior counselor to the president and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation, Jim Carafano. I've always said it is one of my bucket list career goals to be a fellow somewhere for anything. But I'm wondering this is a question I have, if you're a female fellow, does that make you a fella? Because I would think I would be more qualified to be a fella than a fellow. Which would you prefer to be?
A fellow or a fella?
Yeah.
I feel like fellow is much more official
Yeah.
than fella. Fella seems like
fun.
Yeah, a friend more
like
so.
Maybe you get invited to the parties, but you don't have a whole lot of responsibility.
Right. Fellow seems like the one that would be at the party solely for the responsibility.
Yeah. I think I want to be a fella. We'll see.
That changed in a matter of 30 seconds.
Yeah. I don't even care where or for what. We'll just make it up.
Just make me a fella.
That's right. I remember when I was doing digital for 97.1 when Obama, I started in February of 2009. So right after Obama was inaugurated, and he started making czars for everything. You probably don't remember this, Ethan, but
I was 8.
Yeah, I'm sorry for myself, really. But it was like everybody was a czar, and it was kind of a new concept. I don't know, the way they did it, it just seemed weird. And we had this thing on the website, because that was my job at the time as a manager website. You could email me and make yourself the czar of something. And I had this huge, long list of listeners who made themselves the czar of whatever it might be. So I don't know.
Is this list anywhere still?
I'm wondering. I don't know. 2009 internet was a little bit different than today.
It's been a little while.
It's been a minute. And that in internet times is forever. We've got Wiggins America coming up when we come back, but we don't have Ryan Wiggins. So we're going to do Ethan's Earth.
That's exciting news.
You know what we're going to talk about? You know what I'm going to ask you about?
Why don't you throw it out there?
Cardinals sign another pitcher.
I can talk that anytime.
I know that. And so we're going to use you to fill this next segment. Brad is out today. He's not feeling well, so say a prayer for Brad. He said he's going to try to be back tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. And Ryan had a scheduled day off. So we are putting this show together on the fly, and we are hoping that you'll stick with us throughout the course of the entire show. At the 2 o'clock hour, we've got Katie and Jesse Johnson coming in from STS Armory, and we're going to answer your gun questions, your gun law questions, and we're going to talk a little bit. We set this up at the beginning of the hour about the new podcast episodes that we're going to be uploading on the weekends, on Saturdays on the Annie Frey Show podcast, about practical prepping, just being ready for a few days where the internet, well, that too. The electricity gets knocked out. There's a weather event, maybe something more nefarious. We haven't gotten deep into that quite yet on the podcast episodes, but we'll talk on the Annie Frey Show at 2 o'clock with the people from STS Armory. In the 1 o'clock hour, we've got Steve Moore and Brian Kilmeade at 1:25. But when we come back, Ethan's going to talk to us about the latest signing. We're going to have a little discussion about the St. Louis Cardinals as they are making moves, whether Ethan likes them. Ethan's got a Cardinals podcast, too. I'll tell you about that when we return as well. So stick around. Come vote on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. How has the 2023 economy affected your Christmas preparation? Is it positively? Is it negatively? Or not at all? Lots of people commenting so far. We need yours as well. Hunter said, I was 50-50 between negative or not at all because I notice how much more things are costing, but I am still buying them. Good for you to be in that position. Ripper said, yes, things cost more, but we can handle it, so not much impact. Kind of the same sentiment there. And Doug said, we're only replacing things as needed at this point, not indulging. The economic indicators are not good at all. We'll ask Steve Moore about that impact at 1:05, and we'll talk about the St. Louis Cardinals with Ethan when we come back. Don't go away.
Brand new.
So Michael's Flooring Outlet is welcoming you into the store this holiday season, and I've leaned into this a little bit before because this is how things go in our house. And you get to the holiday season and you look at your significant other and you think, spend a couple $100 maybe on you. You spend a couple $100 on me. What if we made an investment in our home and we bought something big and we replaced the flooring? Michael's Flooring Outlet is there for you with great value to make sure that the dollar that you're going to spend, that you've earned, is going to stretch as far as it can for good quality flooring. When Michael's Flooring Outlet is your destination, either online at igotfloor.com or in one of the 3 different locations that you can visit this holiday season in St. Charles County, in West County, also in Darien Prairie, you are going to get the best in customer service to help you navigate through your flooring purchase. You're looking for the Techwood Plus line of flooring, the Mohawk Smart Strand Silk line of flooring. You're looking for something in between. Residential, commercial. They got all of it covered with great quality at great value. Find them online today, igotfloored.com.
Attention business owners, this is John Souza, CEO of ERTC.com. The Employee Retention Tax Credit Program provides up to $26,000 per W-2 employee. If you're confused about the ERTC program, stop right now. Don't fall for false promises. The bottom line, there is no such thing as guaranteed eligibility. Being innovative with taxes can lead to an audit. All ERTC companies are not the same. The easiest way to know if a company is non-compliant is to ask one simple question. Is the CPA working on my file a W-2 employee of your company? If not, stop right now. Contact ERTC.com. IRS compliance is not an option. At ERTC.com, everything is done in-house by expert CPAs, and there's no cost to get started.
Get your free refund information now. 800-200-4230. 800-200-4230. 800-200-4230. That's 800-200-4230.
Hello, I am State Treasurer Vivek Malik. There is a program in my office that allows you to save for your loved one's education. The Most 529 program helps families save for K-12, college, trade or technical schools. Contributions to most 529 accounts grow tax-free and are eligible for a state tax deduction of up to $16,000. Celebrate this holiday season by giving to your child's education. Learn more at MissouriMost.org.
Sponsored by the Missouri State Treasurer's Office.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885. 332-2885.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. If having turkey for the holidays, buy from a local farm, get one labeled USDA organic or certified humane. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Big ideas, real debate, solid entertainment. It's all here on St. Louis's home for conservative talk, 97.1 FM Talk.
It's Christmas. Baby, please come home.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Show. I'm happy to be here on a Monday, and we had Ryan was supposed to be off today. He extended his Thanksgiving holiday a little bit because he was traveling with family, so we'll have Ryan back in studio tomorrow. Brad under the weather as of this morning, so we had to throw the whole show in a frenzy, and everything landed fine. Ethan is in here with us today. We missed having Ethan with us. In between Hannah and Leah, Ethan was the glue that continued to hold the show together so we could continue to grow. And it was a huge bright spot in my day when I got the text from Trisha that said Ethan was going to be here, and I thought perfect because the Cardinals made a big signing today. It's done, right?
It is not official.
Is it like
has not been
physical and
officially signed yet, but
the deal's done.
But the deal is pretty much done. I mean, it's all been confirmed by all the big writers.
So Ethan, just to set the tone a little bit for people who are listening right now and maybe not remember Ethan from when he was filling in when Hannah got bumped up to the bigs on the morning show for Y98. Ethan, you have worked with the Cardinals for how long? A year?
Yeah, a year.
So you got to work in the clubhouse. What was the name? What was your position?
Yeah, so I was their radio booth assistant associate, so worked with the broadcasters a lot of stat providing, stuff like that. And then I was also Camo X's clubhouse reporter for the Cardinals. So interacting with Ollie, interacting with players, getting that post-game sounder. So anytime you guys heard any of that sounder in the post-game last year, that was me interacting with players and coaches.
And I just give you that opportunity to say that because you have a podcast where you talk about the Cardinals and you'll talk about things like this, the signings that they've done, but you're not that there's anything wrong with being another guy with an opinion, but you have access and you have you study this and it's part of your professional responsibility. Honestly, it's part of the professional responsibility that kept you from probably being the associate producer for the Annie Frey Show because of your professional aspirations. Talk to us about the signing from the St. Louis Cardinals that came about today, and then we can expand a little bit on what they've done so far this offseason.
Yeah, so the Redbirds, they finally did what everyone was kind of holding their breath and hoping that they were going to do, and that is they brought in a higher level tier of starting pitching. They've signed Sonny Gray to a 3-year, $75 million deal, which is right about what he was projected to get. I think that The Athletic had him at $72 million, so this is right around there. Sonny Gray is coming off of a season with the Minnesota Twins where he had an ERA at under 3. It was at 2.8, which is very impressive in today's day and age of baseball. That is very low. He was finished second in the Cy Young Award, which in the American League, which is the best pitcher, the best pitching season. So very impressive season that Sonny Gray is coming off of, and he'll be a great help to the Cardinals. And he will be, as of now, slotted in as their number one piece, and that's been the thing that people have been talking about, is that they needed a number one guy. And when you looked at the tier level of where the starting pitchers in this free agent market were, he was in the B tier. So there was 3 or 4 in that top level, which included Aaron Nola, which was who everyone in St. Louis wanted to go and get.
He wanted to go back to Philly.
He re-signed with the Phillies, which you can't blame him. I mean,
that's where he wanted to go.
He's played his entire career there.
Yeah.
He's coming off of back-to-back seasons where 2 years ago they lost in the World Series. Last year they lost in the National League Championship Series. So Philly is right there competing every year. So can't blame him for that. And then a couple of other pitchers. But yeah, this is a good signing for the Cardinals. It's definitely a step in the right direction. This is probably I want to say it's the second biggest contract they've given to a pitcher. That's unofficial. I know. I want to say it's the second biggest contract they've given to a pitcher. So ever in free agency, that's an area that the Cardinals have not always been huge in spending.
We don't spend money.
We don't spend money in that way, So for the Cardinals to go out and get this piece is definitely a step in the right direction. A lot of people are saying we still need to go out and find
Yamamoto.
So here's the thing with Yamamoto. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen now, but the odds don't look very good for it. And the reason being is that, one, everyone's going to be going for Yamamoto. And for those that don't know,
where does he rank right now in available starting pitching?
Number 1.
He's the guy.
He's number 1. And people would have argued even before Aaron Nola went off the market that he was number 1. And a large reason for that was because he is so young. He's 25. And it's expected.
The average age of our starting rotation right now is like 36 or something.
It's 35. It's 33, 34, somewhere in that range, which is much older than the large majority of baseball, let alone teams
if I were in politics, I'd say that just means experience. If I'm in reality, I'm going, that means injuries.
Right. So with him being so young, he's going to make more money because the team wants to lock onto him for a longer period of time. And while that was realistic for the Cardinals to be in that argument at a point, it isn't really now because when you look at what they're trying to spend, what they have kind of talked about is going to be expected for what they'll spend, that would definitely put them over. So if the Cardinals are to go out and they are to get another starting pitcher, I think that we're more likely to see them go to the trade market. The Cardinals have a huge depth of offensive pieces that
is there a Tampa Bay pitcher that we're looking at?
Tyler Glasnow has been a name thrown around. There hasn't been anything official that we are in on him or anything, but he's definitely a name. Dylan Cease from the Chicago White Sox is another name that intrigues a lot of people because they have been so bad the last couple of years and they're selling everything right now. So that's definitely another name to keep an eye on, but keep an eye on the Cardinals. Maybe it's early in the offseason, which is a good thing. We already have these 3 spots filled in, which Mozeliak said he wanted to fill. Those are already filled in. So now you can kind of play and tinker with the rest of this roster as the offseason goes on, but still a lot of time for the Cardinals to make more moves.
You know, when you have a really crap year and you get to Christmas and you're like, we're just going to buy a lot of extra presents this year. Yeah, we're going to spend more money than we have spent, but we need to make Christmas. John Mozeliak, I'm talking to you. You spend that money. Let's take a quick break here. When we come back, Steve Moore and Brian Kilmeade in the 1 o'clock hour, STS Armory in the 2 o'clock hour in studio. We'll be right back.
I'm a pilot, martial artist, mountain biker, hiker. The thing that brings me down is my feet. When my wife finally talked me into going into the Good Feet store, the salesperson there immediately started investing himself in my problem. And now that I wear the inserts all the time, I'm not feeling the pain. They're comfortable to have in, and it's uncomfortable not to feel them in my shoes because I know the positive effect they've had. This is not something that you could solve online. There's got to be somebody there that can help you find that fit. You put in the arch supports and your day becomes better and the clouds go away and it's a good life. Good Feet has saved the day.
Call now 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive west of I-270 in the Plaza with Subway in Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeetstlouis.com. Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Enjoy comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief. And Good Feet arch supports are proudly made in the USA.
1 hour of the Annie Frey Show is down, 2 to go, and the time is 12:57. This update is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
6 days. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. The extended agreement between Israel and Hamas announced today by Qatar, offering hope for more hostages' families.
In exchange for a 2-day extension of a humanitarian pause, Hamas is committing to releasing 20 more women and children hostages over the next 2 days.
So the approach that we're taking with Israel, and quite frankly with our partners in the region, is working. It's getting aid into people that need it. It's getting a pause in the fighting. It's getting hostages out. It's getting Americans out.
National Security Council spokesman John Kirby says the Biden administration wants to see that pause extended even longer, but says that will depend on Hamas continuing to release hostages.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Israeli Defense Forces spokesman Daniel Hagari moments ago.
We will rescue our hostages at all costs.
He says they're preparing for the next stage of the war, reaffirming Israel's goal of dismantling Hamas. Arraignment day for the Vermont man accused of shooting 3 college students in a possible hate crime.
Jason Eaton has pleaded not guilty to attempted murder and is being held without bail in Saturday's shooting of 3 20-year-old men of Palestinian descent near the University of Vermont campus. Chittenden County State's Attorney Sarah George called the shooting unprovoked violence.
These are 3 life felonies. And although we do not yet have evidence to support a hate crime enhancement, I do want to be clear that there is no question this was a hateful act.
Burlington police say they have linked a gun in Eaton's apartment to casings that were found at the scene of the shooting.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. The 3 men who were shot were spending Thanksgiving break in Burlington. They remain hospitalized. The body of former First Lady Rosalind Carter scheduled to arrive later this hour at the Jimmy Carter Presidential Library and Museum to lie in repose. President Biden and Vice President Harris expected to attend a memorial service in Georgia tomorrow. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey, St. Louis, brace yourself for the ultimate holiday deal with Consumer Cellular. Snag an incredible 50% off the Iris Flip when you buy before December 17th, making it only $34.50. The Iris Flip is all the phone and camera you need with a user-friendly design, the perfect flip phone companion. Plus, you'll get nationwide coverage and always free activation. Don't miss out. Head to one of our 4 retail locations in your area and seize this deal this holiday season.
Can't sleep with this cold.
Honey.
Honey?
Honey, you need NyQuil Severe Honey.
NyQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a dreamy honey taste.
Feeling better, honey? Honey? I'll take that as a yes.
Try NyQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu symptom relief. NyQuil Severe with honey flavor. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever. Honeylicious, best sleep with a cold. Medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
All about sunshine this afternoon, but don't let that fool you. It is cold out there, windy and chilly, only 42 for the high. Tonight, clear and cold, a fast fall to 22 degrees. Cold evening coming up. Tuesday, sunny and chilly, 42. Sunny, warmer Wednesday afternoon, 55. We've got some rain showers Thursday night and Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Fox Across America has landed on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Weeknights at 6.
Hey, it's your radio buddy Jimmy Fallon here, and I am fired up, psyched to be here on 97.1.
Jimmy Fallon.
Every weeknight at 6.
97.1 FM Talk.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. A stunning eternity band, a pair of classic diamond stud earrings, something new and eye-catching from a world-class designer, or maybe you're looking for that perfect engagement ring or a fabulous timepiece. At Diamonds Direct, we have the perfect gifts for the season, starting at around $300. Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift. Or for some fabulous ideas, see the online seasonal gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant for the ultimate convenience. Whether you connect online or in person, you're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. And to help make your purchase even more affordable, we've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Hey, Bernie Federico here. Over the years, you've heard me talk about lakeside renovation and design. My friends Matt and Dan have been in the business for over 25 years and have done everything on my home, from James Hardy siding, Infinity from Marvin Windows, and even a couple of room additions. These guys are great, and you can trust them with your home. Check out their website to see for yourself all the beautiful work they've done. You can find them online at lakesidrenovationanddesign.com. Be sure to ask about their unbelievable financing options. Lakeside Renovation and Design.
Check off your shopping list with Cardinals Baseball. 5 and 10 game packs are on sale now and feature 2024's highest demand games and promotional giveaways. Choose from the opening day pack, bobblehead pack, Cubs pack, and more. New for 2024, check out the 10 game For the Lou pack, which includes lots of new STL themed promos. Give the gift that lasts all season, all baseball season. Cardinals ticket packs start at just $55 and are on sale now at cardinals.com/holiday.
A swing and a long one. Left field. Walker just gave the Cardinals the lead. Home run!
This holiday season, give the gift of date nights, family time, and more with Cardinals tickets. 2024 all-inclusive tickets start at just $55 and feature a full buffet, complimentary bar, plus a great view of the game. Choose from the UMB Champions Club, Premium Legends Club, Proficient Red Jacket Club, National Car Rental Club, and more. Get your single game all-inclusive tickets now at cardinals.com/holiday.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
The vote is in. STL Today has certified the result. Onderlaw has been voted 2023's best law firm in St. Louis.
When you're injured, call Onder Law at 314 or 618-9000000.
Is your home ready for the holidays? Beat the holiday rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. Get the Mark Reardon special. 3-room Zero Res clean starting at $129. You can also get $50 off your air duct cleaning when you call 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
This hour of the Annie Fry Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Happy Monday. Glad to have you here. We spoke in the first hour with Jim Carafano and got the lowdown on his thoughts on the hostage trade that is taking place along with the implications of it. And while we were having that conversation with him, I'm going to pull up the news story right now. they announced that more hostages had been released. And it looks like, well, it says President Biden's supposed to speak soon, but I think he's going to talk about supply chains. And when I covered Donald Trump, when he was the president, if something like this happened and Donald Trump came to the podium, he would often first address the news at hand, and then he would go into his discussion about whatever, like supply chains, for instance. You've got a scheduled opportunity to speak, but it's an opportunity also to use that podium and the cameras that are there to talk about the news that just broke, and you get to speak on it. And it also looks a bit foolish to not speak on that issue and to just be going about the daily business. You can't really rely on Joe Biden to handle that. So we'll wait and see, and we will monitor that. We want you to go on the Andy Frey YouTube channel and vote in today's YouTube live chat poll. How has the 2023 economy affected your Christmas preparation? Is it positively, negatively, or not at all? Dirk says, I chose negatively. I'm cutting back on holiday spending as a direct result of higher prices. I want to talk a little bit later in the show about spending, because you definitely, I'll speak for myself. I definitely have an arc of my life of where I've thought of Christmas gift giving in the frame of cost. So for all the siblings between my husband and me, we're going to spend, I'm throwing out a number, $50 per person. And then everybody starts having kids. And so you're like, okay, for all the nieces and nephews, we're going to spend $25. And then there are more nieces and nephews and more siblings and in-laws. And it expands. And I've shifted that line of thinking to not be about the dollar amount specifically. You kind of have a ballpark of what you're willing to spend, but to try to think more about the gift. Which means sometimes you go find something or you think of something and it's the absolute perfect gift. You're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to give this gift. And it costs a little bit more than the idea of the budget that you have. But then also sometimes you might think of the perfect gift and it costs less than what you, like something that this person really is going to love to open or really, really wants or maybe needs, but they haven't purchased it for themselves yet. And you get them that gift, and then you're thinking, I'm still supposed to spend $20 more on them. Let that go. That's at least been my mentality on this issue, because it's very difficult to manage a budget across a whole bunch of people when you're blessed to have a big family, or maybe you buy for coworkers or lots of friends or whatever. It just adds up and adds up and adds up. When you are looking at the prices of what everything costs today, I definitely think that it is affected. I've never looked at gifts that I've received from people and been like, did they adhere to the budget? Did they specifically stay to the gift giving budget that you allocated ahead of time? That's just not really how gift giving is supposed to be. But we want to know what you think on the YouTube live chat poll. How has the 2023 economy affected your Christmas preparation? Positively, negatively, or not at all? A lot of people are saying right now that the prices are affecting it. Ed on YouTube says, no effect. I have always tried to ignore prices and face the music after the holidays. Credit card debt is definitely something that I think a lot of people have been dealing with here also. Steve Moore joins us now. He's a distinguished fellow in economics at the Heritage Foundation, and you can find his book, Govzilla, How the Relentless Growth of Government is Devouring Our Economy and Our Freedom. Steve, hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Welcome back to the show. Good to have you here.
Yeah, well, right back to you, Addie. And yeah, it was a fantastic Thanksgiving. I gained a couple pounds, but other than that, everything was good.
Yeah, we're all working that off now as we approach the Christmas season. I'm asking my listeners today about how the economy is affecting their Christmas preparation, and everybody is saying they're noticing the higher prices. Some people are saying they're spending more because of it and just dealing with it, and other people are saying I can't. What's your explanation for where we are right now? What are the numbers behind our economy and inflation and all of that people are dealing with?
Well, there's no question the economy is in better shape than it was a year ago. No doubt about it. You know, we had 9% inflation this time last year, and now it's down to 4%. So that's a big improvement. But 4% inflation is still high, Annie.
Yeah.
I mean, the target is 2. And, it's like saying, well, I had an 103-degree temperature and now I only have a 101-degree temperature.
Still hot.
You're still sick.
Yeah.
Here's what worries me. I've mentioned many times on your show that, it's very much like a guy who goes out, partying on the town and drinking all night long and dancing on the tables at the end of the night and then can barely get out of bed in the next morning. And I think that there's a little bit of that now. You mentioned credit card debt. It's over $1 trillion. Did you know that? $1.04 trillion, not billion, $1 trillion of debt. I know these numbers are so gigantic, people's heads spin around. But, I'm worried that people, because, today is Cyber Monday?
Yep.
And, we have Black Friday. And so far, just over the last 3 days, the sales numbers are really strong. People are spending. There's no doubt they're spending money. I worry how they're going to pay for it.
Right.
Do they think the government's going to bail them out like they did the student loans?
The interest rates, too. I mean, we've seen interest rates going way, way up on mortgage rates, but the credit card interest rates are astronomical, too. It seems as though there's a point where you can't get ahead of that credit card debt. You're going to be paying your interest every month. And then what happens when the trillions of dollars of credit card debt grows because nobody's paying off the principal?
It's exactly it's like what's happening at the consumer level, like in the family level that you just described, is like a microcosm of what's happening at the federal level, where exactly that problem. You and I have talked about this, that more and more of the taxes we're paying now aren't even going for government services. They're not going for roads. They're not going for hospitals. They're not going for police service or national defense. More and more of it is just going off, paid for the interest on the debt. And now that's where a lot of families are at. And I'm not a financial advisor, Annie, but the one piece of financial advice I want to give to people is stop, ringing up your credit card bill, because that's the worst way to borrow, because they will charge you 25 or 30%, in some cases. And so then you're paying, as you said, you're not even fighting off the principal. You're just paying these high interest rates. So, look, I hope we can get out of this situation without a kind of major retraction. I don't know. I've been kind of giving up. I'm saying we're going to have a recession. I hope we don't. But this can't continue.
Yeah.
You can't keep borrowing, and hoping that story, Annie, has a happy ending.
Yeah, but it certainly doesn't, and there isn't going to be a bailout because there's no money to bail people out with. There's
well,
no
Washington
money.
thinks. Well, Washington can print the money. Then we become like Argentina. By the way, I'm so excited. I have to say, as an aside, I don't know if anybody's paying attention to this, but in Argentina, this guy Milei won this stunning upset against the Peronistas, the ones who sent Argentina to the poorhouse with it. You think we have inflation problems here? You know what the inflation rate in Argentina is?
You said 4%. 4% here?
400%.
400% there. That's bad.
Yeah, now that's inflation. And so, got almost a situation where almost literally the money isn't worth the paper it's printed on. And so I don't want to see, that kind of thing happen here in the United. And by the way, the reason it happened is because of runaway spending. So the most important thing we have to do, I know it's a little early for this, but if we make a New Year's pledge, our pledge should be to get, the government to cut, trillions of dollars out of this obese budget.
Yeah, you took the thought right out of my mouth my mind, because I was going to say to you, I was going to ask you to kind of set the tone for 2024 for us. It's a big election year, and the election is going to have huge, huge implications on the direction of the economy. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering, have you seen anything from the Biden administration that shows you that they are going to make some changes in the coming year, going into an election year to try to make the economy better for American people who are going to have to vote in November of 2024?
I think they're going to spend more and print more money because they think that's the way they get them, look at all the free money, and so I think that'll make things worse, not better. I don't think Joe Biden will be, by the way, the Democratic nominee. I don't see how he possibly could be. Can anyone really imagine 4 more years of him in the White House? It would be catastrophic. So they will spend and spend and spend, and will pay the bills later. You ever see the movie Wayne's World?
Yeah, it's been a
Remember
while.
that movie?
I didn't see
Remember-
this
Yeah, I know,
conversation going this way, but I like it.
Yeah, well, there's, what's the famous line from that? Party on, Wayne. Remember that one? Party on, Wayne. Well, that's what we're doing. We're partying on.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, party on Kamala. It's something else. I don't think that he's going to be the nominee either. I don't know how they're going to get from where they are right now to a new nominee, but I'm very much so looking forward to seeing what 2024
Well, I want people to pay attention to Thursday night.
Yes.
I hope this is on your calendar. You know what's happening Thursday night?
Yes, I do. We're going to air it live on 97.1.
Oh, you're good. Well, I've been. Okay, I'm going to tell you something off the record, okay?
Off the record.
I've been trying to give a little advice to, the governor there, Ron DeSantis, who's, America's governor, fantastic, and just comparing and contrasting what's happening in Florida versus what's happening in California. California is a disaster area now. They've got 5 times the rate of homelessness. They have a higher unemployment rate, more poverty. 200,000 people are leaving every year for California from New York. For California, for Florida. You've got the gas. Here's one. It's just a sneak preview. The gas price in California right now is $5 a gallon. It's like $3 a gallon in Florida. So think about that. They pay $2 a gallon more for gas at the pump in California than they do in Florida.
It's outrageous. Last question before we let you go, because the DeSantis Newsom debate, it's 8 o'clock local time here, and we are going to air it on 97.1 on Thursday. How does Newsom, because you and I look at that and go, what a disaster. Who would choose the California way? What is he going to say that's going to try to entice people to go, yeah, the California way is the way?
Oh, I know what he's going to say.
What is it?
I know exactly what he's going to say, because he's going to say, California is the freedom state because we allow women to have abortions and we don't take books off the shelves and da-da-da, which is, by the way, that's a fraudulent comment because they are taking books like To Kill a Mockingbird out of the libraries, not the pornographic material that some governors are trying to get out of the grade schools. But and by the way, I know Gavin Newsom. I met him. He's who he reminds me of, Annie? Bill Clinton. He's very very slick, and so he's going to be tough. He doesn't have any of the facts on his side, but if this is about substance
this is
rather
politics.
than style,
Yeah,
right.
You don't need the facts. You just need to be able to say it in that smooth, slick way. Yeah. Well, we'll be listening, and I look forward to hopefully being able to connect to you Monday and seeing what you thought about that debate. It's going to be very, very compelling. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Have a great week ahead.
You as well. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. Bye-bye. The Distinguished Fellow in Economics at Heritage Foundation. His book is called Govzilla, How the Relentless Growth of Government is Devouring Our Economy and Our Freedom. It is a really good example of if you've ever had a mountain of credit card debt, and I've experienced this over the course of years where you put stuff on a credit card and you're trying to get ahead of it. In college, it might have been a $400 balance and you're trying to figure out how am I going to get this balance down. You just end up paying the interest, but you just always pay the interest until you get down to the principle of the actual matter. And on a large scale, that is what the United States government is doing. We do need to shrink government. We do need to cut spending. And we need to figure out how to get someone elected who is going to sell people on the idea of cutting spending. That doesn't play in politics, but boy, would it play well for the United States economy. We're going to take a quick break. Brian Kilmeade on The Annie Frey Show when we come back. Of course, he is the co-anchor of Fox and Friends. You see him on Fox in the morning, and you hear him right before The Annie Frey Show right here on 97.1 FM Talk, and you're going to hear him on The Annie Frey Show when we come back. Stick around. Brian Kilmeade when we return.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Stewart's American Mortgage is home of the Bagel Loan. You can't get the Bagel Loan anywhere else. It's Stewie's and Stewie's only until you work with him and you make it your own. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Stewie is there to make sure that your acquisition of a mortgage is a really, really smart economical decision. We're just kind of talking about the economy and how people need to make the best decisions for themselves. Keep your interest rate low. You get the lowest rates available, of course, still at Stewart's American Mortgage. But when you get that mortgage using a Bagel Loan with Stewie, you pay nothing in closing costs that other lenders out there are going to charge you for. This is a smart decision. I have done refinances twice with Stewie before rates went sky high to lower my rate each time, and it did not cost cost me anything to go through that process. Do the same thing for yourself. You can, if your rate was super high and as they've come down maybe a tick here, you can refinance. You can refinance to a shorter term and save extra in interest that way. Stewie will walk you through all of your options and help you understand exactly how the Bagel loan works. And a reminder, you pay nothing in closing costs that other lenders will charge you for. 314-324-4440. You can Google the Bagel loan as well. And MLS number 226715.
While no child should have to spend the holidays in the hospital, there are many at SSM Health Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital who will not be able to experience the joy of opening gifts around their tree. Please join 97.1 FM Talk and give the gift of hope and healing to Cardinal Glennon kids and support the Tree of Hope year-end giving campaign. Your gift ensures these brave patients can continue to receive the critical care they need during these challenging times. Thank you for giving at treeofhope.org.
If you have hunting property in the state of Missouri, listen up. I want to introduce you to Missouri Brush Control. If you're frustrated with thick brush and limited visibility, Missouri Brush Control can open that up for you. They can come in with their forestry mulching machines and create shooting lanes for you, enhancing your hunting environment and attracting game like never before. Enjoy your hunting property the way you've always dreamed of. To see what I mean, go to their website and check out their gallery of before and after projects. That's MissouriBrushControl.com. Tell them Bo Matthews sent you to Missouri Brush Control.
If you're looking to gift an experience that lasts a lifetime, now is the time to check out Rosetta Stone. During their Cyber Week deal of a lifetime, you can get over 60% off. It's their best price of the year, guaranteed. Rosetta Stone provides fun and engaging language learning for everyone on your list. From your grandparents who want to keep their brains sharp, to your sister who loves to travel. Every unlimited subscription includes lifetime access to immersive lessons and learning tools for 25 different languages. Plus, every subscription now comes with access to live lessons, where expert tutors teach you fun new words related to local holidays, cultural traditions, food and drink, and more. Rosetta Stone's award-winning app has helped millions of people around the world learn to speak new languages with confidence. Visit rosettastone.com/radio today to score over 60% off and give a gift that won't end up in the back of a closet. Don't wait. Get over 60% off now at rosettastone.com/radio.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Monday afternoon, we'll be joined by R. Emmett Tyrell. 50 years of conservative history. He's got a new memoir.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Free Palestine!
Yeah, okay. All right.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free!
You know, the idiots even have to ruin the Macy's Day, Thanksgiving Day parade, including a Palestinian flag that was, whatever that is, was held up on one of the first floats that included the Native Americans who actually dined with the Pilgrims on Thanksgiving. This is what happened on Macy's Day, and the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Day parade. Had to explain that to my kids while we were waiting to see Santa Claus and Bluey. Brian Kilmeade joins the Annie Frey Show right now, co-anchor of Fox and Friends, and of course host of the Brian Kilmeade Show, which happens right before the Annie Frey Show. Brian, welcome back. It's good to have you here.
Good to see you, Annie. Well, I see you this week.
Yes, Friday. I have the Kilmeade Christmas in the prettiest cursive handwriting. We're excited to have you here on Friday.
I wonder if I lost that skill to write in script.
Can you
It's
read
been a
cursive,
while.
though? There's a whole conspiracy that we're not teaching kids to read cursive so that they can't read our founding documents. You know a little bit about the founding documents. Do you believe that conspiracy?
I don't. I've never even heard that before. That's how maybe they're afraid to share it with me.
Yeah, they don't want you to know that because you'll debunk it in no time. I want to talk to you a little bit about your book here, but I also want to, before we get into Teddy and Booker T, how two American icons blazed a path for racial equality, I want to give you an opportunity to talk. You do this 3 hours a day right here before my show starts, but specifically we've got more hostages that have been released. Your thoughts right now on the way America is playing a role in what is taking place in these negotiations between Israel and Hamas?
I mean, the president just have to understand you can't have a ceasefire. I mean, I think he understands that. He's totally shocked. And I'm going to pretend there is no conspiracy there. Totally shocked to see his party just abandon him on this. Young people, anyway. Did you hear the Washington Post today? How there's a huge division. They demanded to meet with Anita Dunn among his staffers that he hired to find out why the president's so pro-Israel, and he should change that. That's what happens when you hire people that don't believe what you believe, but they just check a box.
Yeah.
So now, whatever his mixed group is doing, they don't support his policies. Now, the State Department doesn't support his policies, and they're being transparent about it. Usually we're used to seeing those disruptions and eruptions from when Donald Trump's president. Oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. We've been here forever. But now for them to turn on Joe Biden, it shows you how that State Department's got to be blown up. Not so much for disagreeing, but when you have a president, the State Department has got to have your views, offer them, tell them what you think. You've been there 20 years, whatever it is. But you have to go ahead with the policy of the people that get elected. So I don't understand what is going on here, but I'm just saying to myself, if this was Trump, they'd be saying, look, everything's backwards because they're protesting Trump. They're blocking the Manhattan Bridge for the Palestinians because it's Trump. They'd be just blaming everything on Trump. I just hope people understand if he becomes president again and things go backwards, like this is upside down world as far as I'm concerned. It's not even bad or good. It's just totally upside down.
Yeah. I
hope people just understand that they were doing this under a traditional candidate.
Yeah. I don't 2024, even the date kind of frightens me because it's going to be a dozen big headline news items every single day, and you never want to drop something. You never want to miss something. You cover the news for basically half of your waking time, it seems, and you can't possibly get to all the news stories at once. But 2024 is going to be even a new breed. What are you expecting to see on the global scale as Donald Trump is the lead candidate for the Republicans, is going to be in court the entire time, and meanwhile, it seems as though the world is on fire and Joe Biden doesn't understand any of it?
Yeah, I don't think he has much of a staff, but a couple of things. Which is really dangerous is I think that Democrats are saying that Trump is Hitler, he is Stalin, he's Mussolini, he's the worst ever. Now, most people don't believe that, and some independents and undecideds will decide on the next president. But can you imagine if this guy becomes president and people are believing this stuff? They will do anything either to destroy the country, take out this president, because they're going to believe that he's actually Hitler, as opposed to 4 years of a track record of his policies that are less confrontational, more direct, less interventionist than any president in my lifetime. Even a lot of times he upset Republicans, like, for example, pulling out of Syria, even having talks about going out of Afghanistan. I go, what's the rush? He never would have done what Joe Biden did, but this guy was looking to deconflict. He's not Hitler. That's kind of just the opposite of Napoleon, Hitler, and all these people. I don't know if people know that. So I worry that people are going to panic and think they really elected somebody that wants to destroy the country.
We had a protest, a pro-Palestinian protest here in St. Louis a couple weeks ago, and we had one of the women who was she was assaulted at this. She was pro-Israel. She's Jewish. She has dual citizenship, and she showed up first and was asking the individuals there that were chanting "From the river to the sea." She was like, "Can you name the river?" And they couldn't even name the river. They don't even know. You ask, like, do they understand Hitler? Do they understand Napoleon? I mean, these people don't. They don't care to. It's an emotional plea, and it's so incredibly misinformed.
Right, because you need to have a little bit of education to do it. The Black Lives Matter. I don't like cops. Okay, go protest against cops. Go ahead, find out the folly of your ways. But at least you could say, I know where they stand and I disagree. You're going to tell me they even understand that there is no Palestine? Right. They understand that they had a section of the world, they walked away from it, of that country? You understand that they were attacked in 1948 and that the bet was it will destroy Israel and take all of it, and they lost that bet? And now you want them to give it up after 67 attacks, 73 attacks, all the eruptions and in between, the infantada that took place. Do you think anybody on the streets on Manhattan Bridge on Sunday even understood that?
Mm-hmm. No, and it'd be the most dangerous thing for them to get that education, because they would then know that they were wrong. We're speaking with Brian Kilmeade right now. He is on the Brian Kilmeade Show, of course, before the Annie Frey Show starts. And I wanted to talk about that first because you mentioned Black Lives Matter, the amount of division that was in this country in 2020 leading into an election, COVID shutdowns, all of the crazy, all at once. We're so divided. Joe Biden gets elected to unify us. We're more divided now, and now it's on a global scale. And you keep writing these books about these historical figures that are unlikely partners. And if you told the story today, which you are, these people that we're talking about that are protesting who don't understand history would say that somebody like Teddy and Booker T or Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass would not be able to come together and do anything and meet in the middle and progress our country in the civil rights arena. And it happened then. It could happen now. But I want you to talk to us a little bit about Teddy Roosevelt and Booker T. Washington and why this is an important story for people to know today.
Look, I do expect you to know who's in World War II, but I don't expect people to have the same passion that we have for history. It's just one of those things that, when people talk about science, I try to concentrate. I'm just terrible at it. So what I wanted to do is describe the story, these two great people, and make people get reintroduce people to the greatness of America, and know that these people came from nowhere to be outstanding Americans, and one guy's on the side of a mountain, the other going should be, and that's Booker T. Washington. And nobody could have come from a lesser place. Up until 9, couldn't read or write, was a slave. Told us the story, and then kept on enlarging this story, and not to so you're in awe of him, but you're going to be in awe of him. And then when you read about Booker T, I was seeing how he linked up with Roosevelt and how much respect Roosevelt had for him. And Roosevelt wrote the foreword to one of his last books. And I went up to the Roosevelt people and I said, is this a stretch? Am I creating a relationship and a friendship that was more than it actually was? And they go, no, do it. You got my backing. Because I know Teddy Roosevelt said some things that show he had blind spots. But I know that as rich as he was lucky to live because of severe asthma, and he had internal issues, some type of cholera of the intestines. This guy had a horrendous upbringing. Also along the way, he lost his mother, who was extremely close to, and his wife on the same day with an infant. So for those people who say, well, Roosevelt had 7 generations of wealth, how can you relate to Booker T? Well, Booker T lost 2 wives to early death, and Booker T was literally born a slave. And all they thought of, how do I make America better? And once I'm free, how do I get an education in Booker T's place? And then how do I become a professor in Booker T's place? Then he said he got recommended because he impressed so many people to run this place called Tuskegee. How would he do that? How would he start with just a shed, a broken down barn, and end up with a sprawling campus that was graduating more people than Harvard and Yale? And that's the story I wanted to tell. So when people ask you, is this a great country? You'll say yes. Are we a perfect country? No. But what makes us great is the people that make it up of this country, and also that we try to be great every day. And no one could have picked out 2 Americans like this and said they will be all-time greats. And they did. And that could be anyone listening right now.
We're speaking with Brian Kilmeade. And, Brian, over the holiday, we watched for the first time with I have a 13-year-old son, an 11-year-old daughter, 7-year-old daughter, 2-year-old. We watched Remember the Titans. And, happening in the 70s, which is a wonderful movie. It still is as good as it ever was, in my opinion. But my kids watched these schools come together, and they were dumbfounded at the idea that kind of segregation existed. And I mean, obviously this is civil rights time and a lot of success, but a lot of work still to do. And I just thought to myself, the amount of progress that our country has made over racial issues, like my kids looked at us like what they were watching was the worst thing that they had ever seen in their life because they couldn't even fit it into their mind. And you're talking, back into this era where we were working to make progress then. You would think that would be something to celebrate in this country, that we have done so well, with the understanding we still have work to do.
Exactly. And the thing that I like, you didn't say to the kids, that didn't happen in America, that's exaggerated. No, it did. And when people, like I was on C-SPAN the other day, and I was taking questions, and they get a lot of haters. And I love it. And one of the questions was, I can't see their faces like this, but one of the questions was, wow, if your book was out in Florida, Ron DeSantis would ban it. I go, do you even understand what he was doing? Do you understand he never denied slavery, segregation? He wanted the true accuracy of our country. He just didn't want it to be written by haters. He didn't want sexuality in our libraries for second and third graders. They want to be taught it. He doesn't want to be able to see it. That's book banning if you are somebody out to get them, but you're telling an inaccurate story. My book would go in any library in Florida if I would be flattered if anyone would do that. But Teddy and Booker T is the story of two great Americans. It should inspire people to read more about them and not the definitive biography of them. They both wrote their own stories. Unlike Lincoln and Douglas, Douglas wrote his, but Lincoln never had a chance to write his. He would have been unbelievable from his perspective. So I just used their words, brought it up, got other biographers, people that knew him, and then talked about how they interacted at the end when Teddy was vice president and became president, and they end up will have a lifetime friendship. And Teddy Roosevelt would serve on the board at Tuskegee University. So back then it was Normal College. It was called Normal College. So he would be there, and his commencement address is there for everyone to read. So if the guy was raised by a mom from the South whose two brothers fought for the Confederacy, and he's able to become president and see greatness in Booker T, not a black man, just a great American. So I think that should be inspiring.
Last question before we let you go. We're speaking with Brian Kilmeade here on the Andy Frey Show. Do you think that there are modern heroes like Booker T and Teddy Roosevelt who can create modern progress in 2023?
I think so. Just give them the opportunity. I mean, I talk to great people of all different races all the time. I'm able to go out in the field. I'm going to see you guys Friday night. Then I'm going to Dallas, and then I'm going to go to 3 stops in Texas. And I'll meet great people of all different colors. Everyone's capable of doing it, but right now, I don't see anyone there. The next Martin Luther King. I don't see Malcolm X. I see people who want to rabble-rouse. I see people that want to wreck and destroy and criticize. I don't see one people build. And I think it's out there that we always have the right person at the right time. I'm convinced we will have somebody step up to do that. And that's the story of the stories I try to put together. And I'm not making it up. I just am astounded. The right people at the right time for the most unexpected circumstances, whether it's that orphan kid named Andrew Jackson or that unproductive, unmotivated behemoth of a man named Sam Houston, or Frederick Douglass, who escaped to freedom and was a fugitive, or Abraham Lincoln, 1 year of formal schooling. America will find the right person at the right time. And, man, maybe it's in 2024.
From your lips to God's ears. I finished The President and the Freedom Fighter when you came out with that. I can't wait to get done with Teddy and Booker T. And I can't wait to see you Friday night, Brian. Thanks for giving us some time here, and we'll see you in a few days.
Yeah, I see everyone at KFTK shortly, and I'm going to make sure that this is a great night. So thanks to everyone for selling it out.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to it. We'll talk to you soon. Brian Kilmeade of The Brian Kilmeade Show right here on 97.1 FM Talk. His book is Teddy and Booker T, How Two American Icons Blazed a Path for Racial Equality. And you get it now. It's going to be a great read. He has a wonderful way of telling the story that takes these historical characters that you've heard of, that you've read about, that are bold-faced words in your social studies book from 7th grade, and he makes them human and makes them relatable. It makes them people who you can read the story the way Brian Kilmeade tells it, and you get to know these people as humans and understand them better. Flaws in everything. Teddy and Booker T. Go check it out by Brian Kilmeade. And hopefully we'll see you there on Friday night. It's going to be a great event at Silo Point at Brookdale Farm. Sold out event. Really excited about it. Good time to get together and celebrate Christmas with you and the 97.1 staff, Brian Kilmeade included. All right, let's take a quick break. Morning Fry Show when we return. The YouTube live chat poll for today is, how has the 2023 economy affected your Christmas preparation? Positively, negatively, or not at all? Pond says, although the economy sucks, we refuse to let it negatively affect our Christmas preparation. That doesn't mean we aren't considering spending less on presents. All right, let us know what you think. We'll be back in a minute.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
MySlim180.com is the website. If you've been considering trying to lose weight and that semaglutide or the tirzepatide injections that you've heard people having a lot of success on is on your mind, reach out to Slim180 and get the process started today. First of all, you can use your FSA and HSA dollars in order to purchase them, which means if you got FSA dollars that you're looking like, how am I going to spend these before I lose them? You consider Slim180 because they can help you lose the weight. You can buy the injections now and get to them maybe in January when you are done with the holidays. Just talk to them at Slim180 and find out how they can help you get to your goals. Your goals can be modest. Your goals can be massive. Either way, Slim180 can help walk you through the process of losing weight with counseled guidance on how to shop at the grocery store, because you buy your food at the grocery store, which is very nice because you can make things along with the rest of the people in your household and just, prepare them in a way that is responsible to help you lose the weight, and do it with the guidance and the savings that you're going to get by mentioning Annie Frey Show at Slim180. You can sign up for a free consultation online right now by visiting myslim180.com.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
How would you like to make no mortgage payments until next year? Are you tired of making minimum payments on high-interest credit cards? Is student loan repayment giving you the blues? Your home equity is at an all-time high. Use that equity to save hundreds every month. Call 314-567-GOLD now and give yourself a payment break. That's 314-567-GOLD. Or visit goldenoaklending.com. NMLS 114937.
Mark Cox here. Join me next spring on a beautiful trip to Italy. This is going to be great. We're going to fly into Rome. We are going to get on a bus and travel south to the Abbey of Monte Cassino, maybe Italy's best-kept secret. It looks like something out of a picture book. We'll visit Puglia. We'll go to Caserta. We're going to spend several days in Sorrento. You'll have an opportunity to visit the ruins in Pompeii, and then Positano, which is on the Amalfi Coast and absolutely one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. I can tell you, my wife and I have been there, and we can't wait to go back. You can even take a high-speed jet foil over to the Isle of Capri, which has some tremendous historic Roman ruins on it that you can visit while you're there. $53.67 a person. That includes your airfare from the St. Louis area. Call them toll-free at 888-733-9494. That's 888-733-9494. or conservativetours.com.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
The only person who can change your life is you, but you need to know how. Listen to my show, The Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
It's the Annie Frey Show here on 97.1 FM Talk. Be sure to go and check out our YouTube live chat poll, which asks, how has the 2023 economy affected your Christmas preparation? Positively, negatively, or not at all? So be sure to go and fill that out on the YouTube live chat. The time is 1:47. This update is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
St. Louis's destination for questioning the narrative.
Your home for conservative talk.
This is 97.1 FM Talk.
Come down to the river. Come and let yourself in. Make good on a promise. Never heard again.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Bring all of your trouble. Come down. All you sinners and the weak at heart.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Been quite a show so far. We had Jim Carafano in the 1225 slot today. Talked to him about the news regarding the hostage release. Let's see. Hamas releases 11 Israeli hostages in fourth ceasefire exchange. According to Fox News, Hamas released 11 hostages to the International Red Cross on Monday in the fourth exchange of the terrorist group's ongoing ceasefire with Israel. The exchange comes hours after Israel and Hamas agreed to a 2-day extension to current ceasefire, which was set to expire Monday. According to the Wall Street Journal, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office has expressed openness to extending the ceasefire by 1 day for every 10 Israeli hostages released. Hamas released 58 hostages over the first 3 days of the ceasefire, including 40 Israeli citizens. In exchange, Israel released roughly 150 Palestinian criminals held in Israeli prisons. So, more hostages have been released, and those positive stories end up starting to come to the surface about these people who have been returned to their families. But man, there is some serious heartbreak when you see some of these people return to their families, but their families aren't there to be returned to. That 10-month-old, I think it was 10 months old when the one child was taken and had been gone for, I don't know, it was coming up on a birthday. It's just really, it's so heavy that it's something that I think turns a lot of people from the news, and then you're not sitting there thinking like, oh, I need to know the exact next thing, the exact next detail that's happening here, but it is a part of the reality of the situation. The implication of the 2024 election, we will have such great consequence no matter who we choose. And I just, interesting to hear Steve Moore say that he doesn't think that Joe Biden is going to be the nominee. I've been saying that, I think, since Joe Biden was inaugurated, that he would not be a two-term president, which is ironic because Joe Biden himself said that he would not run for re-election. And of course, that proved not to be true. So many things have taken such a drastic turn in the course of the years that he has now been the president that I just don't feel as though he can't do it. There are way too many weak spots in his presidency that if they don't think that they can win with Joe Biden running for re-election, they will replace him. I just don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know the mechanics because you have to do it on a state by state level. You have to be able to make sure that the name of the person can get on the ballot. Donald Trump being the lead candidate for the Republican Party. When you listen to the Trump detractors, there are people in the Republican Party who are concerned about Donald Trump being the nominee. And if you're somebody who is sensitive to the Trump effect, you don't love him as your candidate, and you know how much Joe Biden is destroying the country, I don't understand Republican voters who won't vote for Donald Trump again, who say they won't. And I hope that there's a part of them that will end up coming to their senses when it comes time to check the box and will vote for him. The stakes are way too high. You have a primary, and if you can convince enough people that Donald Trump's not the right guy for the job, then somebody else needs to win the primary. But come time for the nominee to be put there, we need to support the candidate that is going to beat the Democrats and Joe Biden. The stakes are so high that people like Representative Eric Swalwell can say dumb things like this.
Would you like to see the United States doing more to pressure Prime Minister Netanyahu to take more steps to reduce civilian casualties?
Yes, and first, President Biden has done that. And I also like to step back when I see some of the heat President Biden is taking and think, what would the alternative be? If Donald Trump was reelected or if Donald Trump was president at this time, can you imagine what the scenario would be in the Middle East? It would probably be the United States and Israel in a World War III-like scenario with Iran, Hezbollah, and Hamas. President Biden has not sent a single American into the conflict, but he is now pulling American hostages out of the conflict. We're supporting Israel. We're getting aid into the region. So far, we've held off other enemies of Israel and America. That's why President Biden was elected, and that's why I think he needs to be given, the room to negotiate, what is ultimately a resolution to this conflict.
Swalwell thinks that Joe Biden is the hero here. Swalwell thinks that Joe Biden is the guy who is going to save the day. Joe Biden is the guy who has gotten, in many cases, this situation to be a possibility in the world. And it's through the funding of Iran. And Jim Carafano, he is very apt to remind us that what's going on in Israel right now and Gaza with Hamas and the absolute hatred and disgust that this terrorist organization has for the existence of Jewish people, that this is downstream from an emboldening of Iran on the behalf of Americans and American tax dollars. We have to look to the next election as we have to be unified. The left is going to be sliced and diced in a lot of different ways with Jill Stein, Cornel West, RFK Jr., Joe Biden, or fill in the blank here for whomever is going to take Joe Biden's place. The Republicans have to be unified. And if they're not, it's the consequences are just so large. This is what Joe Scarborough. I talked about this a little bit when we discussed when we were talking about Brian Kilmeade. But listen to Joe Scarborough.
The crisis we're going through right now, where the world could really spiral into World War III, but it's not because a guy who's actually had 50 years of experience. It shows the contrast between a guy obsessed with marketing his brand, a guy obsessed with gestures, a guy who governed by gesture versus, Joe Biden, who has 50 years of experience. And when a deal goes sideways on the hostages, he can pick up the phone, he can call, he can get it done. Experience matters. And the contrast, and it makes me so angry when people are talking about, oh, Joe Biden, he's out of it, he's this. No, he's not. On Joe Biden's worst day, he's light years ahead of Donald Trump on policy, on politics, on diplomacy.
So Joe Scarborough dipping into the eggnog a little bit soon there, it appears. Did you hear what he did there? The guy, he said this multiple times, like this is the dunk. This is the Trump card, no pun intended. The guy who has 50 years of experience. Yeah, but if you can't remember those 50 years, it doesn't really serve the purpose of the American people. Nobody's buying that, Joe. Nobody is listening to what you're saying here and going, gosh, you're right. This guy, he really has this on lock. The idea that President Trump governs by gesture, you're saying that Joe Biden is best equipped to handle World War III that we are about to get ourselves into because Joe Biden is president, and that your fear that Donald Trump wouldn't be, but we don't have the resume that suggests how Donald Trump would handle World War III because we didn't have to deal with it when Trump was a president. Gosh, do you hear yourself? I don't know how many people do because he's on MSNBC. Anywho, let's stick around because when we come back, Katie and Jesse Johnson from STS Armory to talk to us about guns, gun laws, and prepping. Don't go away.
Attention business owners, this is John Souza, CEO of ERTC.com. The Employee Retention Tax Credit Program provides up to $26,000 per W-2 employee. If you're confused about the ERTC program, stop right now. Don't fall for false promises. The bottom line, there's no such thing as guaranteed eligibility. Being innovative with taxes can lead to an audit. All ERTC companies are not the same. The easiest way to know if a company is non-compliant is to ask one simple question. Is the CPA working on my file a W-2 employee of your company? If not, stop right now. Contact ERTC.com. IRS compliance is not an option. At ERTC.com, everything is done in-house by expert CPAs, and there's no cost to get started.
Get your free refund information now. 800-200-4230. 800-200-4230. 800-200-4230. That's 800-200-4230.
The IRS definitely ramped up operations since the pandemic slowed them down, and activity only increases from here. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. If you're currently under audit or you haven't paid your taxes in the past, now's the time to call the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS has a published Taxpayer Bill of Rights, which says you have the right to retain legal representation because IRS problems are legal problems, and the Lance Story Law Firm focuses specifically on addressing IRS issues for our clients. It's all we do. We get out in front of the IRS, devise the best resolution plan, and work to make sure you're able to take advantage of every program you're qualified to receive. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure company, call the Lance Story Law Firm. We're local, located right here in St. Louis, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-238-7360.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
You couldn't pick a worse time to sell your home. Sure, your home is worth a small fortune right now, but are you really going to swap your 2 or 3% current interest rate and pay 7 or 8% interest on a new house? No way. You don't have to with the Get Paid and Stay program from Truehold. This is ingenious. With the Get Paid and Stay program, Truehold will buy your home now at its best current value. You bank the cash and stay in your home until interest rates come back down or as long as you like. It's your call. Plus, you won't have to pay property taxes, insurance, or upkeep anymore. Truehold pays those expenses. Learn about Truehold's Get Paid and Stay program. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
More hostages will be released. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Just getting word of a handover underway, with the Red Cross taking another group of hostages freed by Hamas. This was the final scheduled group as part of a temporary ceasefire in Gaza. But now there's an agreement to extend the pause.
On the final day of a 4-day humanitarian ceasefire, National Security Council spokesman John Kirby confirmed Hamas and Israel agreed to extend the pause for 2 more days.
Hamas is committed to releasing another 20 women and children over the next 2 days. We would, of course, hope to see the pause extended further, and that will depend upon Hamas continuing to release hostages.
Kirby says the extra days will allow hundreds of more trucks with humanitarian aid to reach Palestinian civilians. It's believed 8 or 9 Americans are also still being held hostage.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. President Biden says the pause has enabled a significant surge in humanitarian aid, also pledging continued efforts to build a future of peace and dignity for the Palestinian people. The president just announcing he'll invoke the Defense Production Act to boost production of essential medicines in the U.S. and avoid having to rely on overseas suppliers.
That supply chain is going to start here in America. We're going to help assure American families have reliable access to medicines they need.
He is also directing his cabinet to develop an early warning system for supply chain risks, while also doubling down on work with global partners. This during the first meeting of his new Supply Chain Council. The founder of the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange is not allowed to leave the U.S. for now. That ruling just in from a federal judge after former Binance chief Changjiang Chao pleaded guilty to violating anti-money laundering laws. The judge says he has has to stay in the U.S. until there's a ruling on whether he can return to the United Arab Emirates, where he's a citizen, while he awaits a sentencing hearing. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey, St. Louis, brace yourself for the ultimate holiday deal with Consumer Cellular. Snag an incredible 50% off the Iris Flip when you buy before December 17th, making it only $34.50. The Iris Flip is all the phone and camera you need with a user-friendly design, the perfect flip phone companion. Plus, you'll get nationwide coverage and always free activation. Don't miss out. Head to one of our 4 retail locations in your area and seize this deal this holiday season.
Oh, this cold.
Honey?
Honey?
Honey, you need DayQuil Severe Honey.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste, because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Now I'm getting a cold.
Honey.
Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe with honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
All about sunshine this afternoon, but don't let that fool you. It is cold out there, windy and chilly, only 42 for the high. Tonight, clear and cold, a fast fall to 22 degrees. Cold evening coming up. Tuesday, sunny and chilly, 42. Sunny, warmer Wednesday afternoon, 55. We've got some rain showers Thursday night and Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
For years, every once in a while, I would mention to save my name. That's Bart Inman and my number in your phone in case or when, because we know it's going to happen, when your furnace or your air conditioner breaks. But when they do save it, they do call me. And when they call me, it was the biggest time I say call me, not just when it breaks down, but if you're told that you need new and you call me, after that, you slow everything up. You'll be shocked on the percentages. It's probably over 90% you don't need new. So call me, Missouri and Illinois. One easy number, 314-293-2600. That's Bart Inman, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600, or internet. It's bartinman.com. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1. Find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2. Have a plan to get there. Step 3. Make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all 3 with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
If you want to lose weight, I've got a great idea for you. Mark Cox here for my friends at Victory Men's Health. They're now offering FDA-approved semaglutide. They have tremendous results with this medication. The average patient loses 15% of their body weight. Men and women can get semaglutide from Victory Men's Health at any of their 3 locations. Be sure and book your appointment today online at victorymenshealth.com.
Give the gift that's hard to wrap, but easy to give. Buy them a Stihl. Save $30 on the BG56 CE handheld blower. Go to stihlusa.com/gift guide. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
Siding Express can totally transform the look of your home by installing Hardy Shake, board and batten, or a stone accent to make it your dream home. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardy contractor. Go to sidingexpress.com to schedule a free no-obligation consultation today.
Shows that make a difference in your day.
Your home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk. This hour of the Annie Fry Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We've had a packed show so far, and we had Jim Carafano in the 12 o'clock hour, Steve Moore talking about the economy in the 1 o'clock hour, Brian Kilmeade in the 1 o'clock hour, and I've been waiting all day for this hour because my friends Katie and Jesse Johnson, who are the owners of STS Armory, you can learn about them online at sts-armory.com, sponsor this show. I endorse them. I am a customer of theirs. I recommend. You've met a lot of my family, haven't you?
Yes, we have.
They continue to come in. I always tell my family when they go to STS, like, I'm going to probably talk about you on there, but I won't use your names. So people just have to imagine. Did you guys have a good Black Friday sale at STS Armory? People show up for that?
Yeah, we had a decent turnout for Black Friday and Small Business Saturday.
Good. That's fantastic. My husband was there. I will call him out. He was there picking up some gifts, and people in my family who are listening right now are like, ooh, hope that's for me. I wanted to talk to you guys, Jesse and Katie, about a few things before we get into our podcast, which I'm so excited about. We'll talk about our Practical Prepping podcast, which is going to be uploaded on Saturdays here on the Annie Frey Show podcast. If you have any questions for Katie and Jesse, they're in here till about 2:45 today. So you can put your comments in the live chat of the Annie Frey YouTube live broadcast right now, and I will field some of those questions throughout the course of these next couple segments. But the biggest question I have, Jesse, Katie, you can handle this, whomever you prefer, is about the AR ban in Illinois. And this law makes people very angry, and I keep talking to people who are like, wait, what do you mean I can't buy a kind of gun in Illinois that I could literally... If I were a resident in Missouri, I could buy that gun there. Tell me what the law is that went into place that distinguishes Illinois residents and gun owners and limits their rights.
Okay, I'll take that. They call it the Protect Illinois Community Act. It is basically Illinois' assault weapons ban. It bans any AR-style rifle, AK-style rifle, which people kind of understand what that is, but it went a lot further than that. So if somebody has a turkey shotgun that holds, or a shotgun that holds more than 5 rounds, it's a semi-automatic, that's an assault weapon.
So you said some words. I told him, I go, you're going to have to explain this. You have to bring it really far down to my level, and then we're going to go one level even lower if we can dig down deep. You said AR and AK style.
Most people know what those are.
What about for the people who don't? What is an AR? Like, that's like a big, scary black gun.
Essentially, yes.
What does it do that is so scary to specifically Democrats?
Nothing different than anything else. It's a semi-automatic rifle, so one trigger press, one round down range. All the furniture on it tends to be either black or colored and adjustable, which makes it great for short kids like me. I can shoot the same gun that he has, but apparently that's too scary.
So 9mm that a police officer carries, what does that do compared to the AR? Like, what is different about the everyday carry handgun for a police officer and an, quote, AR-style weapon?
An AR style will have more energy. It's designed to be fired from the shoulder rather than held in one hand or two hands. That's about the limit of it. And really what the AR shoots is actually, ironically enough, it's a varmint cartridge. It's designed for small animals. It's actually not terribly effective on larger creatures, but it was picked years ago because it's light. It's compatible with a lot of people's sizes. So it's kind of the Swiss Army knife of guns.
How much, in your professional opinion, how long has STS Armory been in Pontoon Beach? How long have you had it?
We just celebrated our 8th anniversary last week.
That's fantastic. STS-armory.com if you want to go look them up online. in your professional opinion, how much does the phrase assault rifle and its misinterpreted relationship with AR, how much does that have to do with the fact that people are more intimidated by an AR style weapon?
A lot of it's the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the media, the way they portray it, is obviously a lot worse than anything that it actually does. It's an inanimate object. It doesn't do harm itself. It's always the intent behind it. So I think a lot of it's just lack of knowledge and fear of that lack of knowledge.
So assault rifle sounds real scary, and then they talk about banning ARs. Is that a misnomer?
It is a misnomer. Assault is an action. And AR actually doesn't stand for assault rifle. It stands for Armalite rifle, the first company that commercially produced it for civilians. It wasn't even the choice of the military at the time. And technically, the military has never adopted an AR-15. It's been a completely different gun.
I've heard people say, why do people need military style weapons? Is what the military is firing at the enemy different than what can be bought in Missouri that can't be bought in Illinois?
Yes, it is.
Dramatically different?
It looks very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Internally, it's different. Military tends to want to have fully automatic, which you hold the trigger down, and it shoots as many times as you have rounds in the magazine. Civilian side, that's not even on the table.
Right. So let's go back to what the state of Illinois determined. They said you can't own those anymore, ARs.
Sort of.
You can't buy them anymore.
Buy anymore.
You were grandfathered in, but you have to register them. Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct. By January 1st, you are supposed to go onto the Illinois State Police website via the portal where we get our FOID cards from and register your firearms, certain ammunition, calibers, cartridges, and any accessories that can go onto their said list.
I've heard that's not going well. I've heard that the reports of the percentage of people who they just don't have many people who are participating in it. And, I know that one of the things that when you go to STS Armory, this is why I really love the relationship that I have with Katie and Jesse at STS Armory is you just mentioned FOID card. Mm-hmm. If you've just moved to Illinois from a free state, I'll say it.
Welcome.
Say hi. Sorry. We have really, really restrictive Second Amendment laws here, but you need a FOID card in order to purchase ammunition, to purchase firearms. Do you need it to transport firearms?
To possess.
To possess them? And you're like, what's a FOID card? Well, what is a FOID card?
It is a firearms owner identification card. It's an $11 essential piece of plastic that runs your background check through the state police once a day and allows you to purchase firearms, ammunition, and some other things that are on there.
You have to have it.
Correct.
To participate in the system. And you guys, if somebody wants to walk in for whatever particular reason, and I've experienced this. I've been carjacked downtown in St. Louis in 2012. I've had a gun pointed at me in standstill traffic on a bridge. Not a lot of place to go to escape that. It was 8:30 in the morning. You think oh, you're driving on the bridge at 3 in the morning, you're gonna run into some hooligans. And no, I was on the way to an early sales meeting at work, and this person laughed at me and pointed a gun at me in standstill traffic. Something might like that might happen to somebody who previously hasn't owned a gun and doesn't know anything about it, and you feel like, okay, I need to get into this, but I have to do it the right way. Do you have those people who walk into your shop and they're like, help, I don't even know where to start?
Oh, absolutely, every day.
What do you do when someone like that walks in? Or maybe I could see a scenario where a husband walks in and says, my wife needs to be able to protect herself.
Yep. I
Help.
travel or whatever it may be. We have that every day. We start the process. We do the online application for them. We help them as long as they have all the correct current documents that they need. I've got that system pretty well mastered, and we go through it. It takes about 15 minutes to apply for it and about 30 days to come back in the mail.
Yeah. I've had family members who you guys have helped with issues that people have had with FOID cards. Mm-hmm. Like, this is a one-stop shop for any of your Second Amendment needs, whatever they might be in the state of Illinois. So, Jesse, talk to me about where, the Illinois passed this legislation. The governor signed it. It went into effect January of 2023. And there are other things going to affect, like you said, the registration that go into effect January 2024. But there are, of course, legal challenges saying this is an infringement on the Second Amendment rights of Illinois residents. Where is this process right now? And is it possible that Illinois residents could get these rights back?
There's about 13 cases floating around right now. The two big ones that the most attention is right now, there's 4 cases that are going for an en banc review. So the full 7th Circuit Court of Appeals, they've applied for the review. They're trying to get an expedited review before the first of the year to either get an injunction or get this tossed out. There's another case mid-December. We should have a ruling. The judge says he will have a ruling out before January 1st.
And the ruling would be on which part of the law or the whole thing?
We don't know yet. It looks like most of the argument is on the registration and the description of what they are. So essentially, it would nullify most of the law because it's very vague on what an assault weapon is.
Anybody ever come to you and be like, hey, the second this law passes or it gets tossed, I want to make a purchase?
Every day. I've got a list going.
I bet there are people who would like that list.
Yes.
Your name is safe in the hands of STS Armory. I know very well somebody who's on that list. I might be married to. So you wait for the law you wait for the ruling to come through. You guys have to be on the front lines of finding out this information. How do you get, where do you go to get your news updates on laws like this, especially considering it has a huge impact on your job?
There's quite a few places. There's some good resources. Illinois Carry has a pretty good resource. I also check the district and appellate court dockets. It's basically a daily thing to see what's popped up, what motion's been made, what commentary, what timeline. It's a lot of time to keep up with where the little movements are moving back and forth.
And people commenting on our YouTube live right now on the Anti-Frey YouTube channel, identifying themselves as somebody who's in that line, waiting for the ruling to come down to reestablish our Second Amendment freedom in the state of Illinois. So we wait on the ruling. If it doesn't go the way that we hope that it goes, the freedom way, do you expect these cases to go to the Supreme Court?
Yes, I do. After the 7th Circuit, I don't know because I'm kind of feeling the state may not want to touch that. If they get shot down the 7th Circuit, if we get shot down, it's going to go to the Supreme Court.
There's no stopping the pro Second Amendment.
No.
Fighters.
We'll take it all the way to the Supreme Court because the rulings, the last few ones, have been completely in the Second Amendment side.
It seems to me like I was reading because you had referred me to some people last time. I think I had you in here to talk on the air about people who you listen to as they're updating this, but it seems to me like the normal lobby groups that used to push for these bills when they're going through the legislature to be less absurd. And it's like, I don't know, maybe you would call it a minor incursion on your Second Amendment rights in the state of Illinois, that this time they said, forget it, put it all in there. Make this bill the most egregious infringement on the Second Amendment rights because we're taking this whole thing all the way to the top, and you could get a pretty significant ruling if the more conservative-minded people don't go in there and try to soften the legislation. The more egregious this one is, the more likely we can have big, broad success challenging it in the courts. And it seems as though this Illinois bill that was passed and signed by Governor Pritzker is patently offensive to any red-blooded American Second Amendment rights. Is that an overstatement?
No, not at all. I think a lot of the groups said, "Hey, you want to do it? Go for it." I mean, and really, the bill was passed essentially in 2 days. They gutted a bill, which already had 2 readings, and they changed everything. Had 1 reading and a vote on it, which is technically against the Illinois Constitution, but the Illinois Supreme Court lets them get away with it.
It's so sad. You know, one of the comments that was made here in the chat, as I'm kind of reading these as they pop up here, is there's concerns that, you know, an AR is intended to inflict more damage. And then somebody else commented, I don't know any firearm that is intended to wound. as opposed to shoot to kill. That the idea that the AR, that they're scarier weapons because they're more powerful weapons. I think you used the term energy before we were talking about, but what's the truth behind, what is the science behind, the scary factor of an AR? And people talk about school shootings and they'll say, like an AR was used. And we still have school shootings. We still have gun violence in the streets of St. Louis all the time. And they're from stolen handguns. They're not coming in with fully automatic, assault rifle type of weaponry. In many cases, a lot of these crimes are being happened with Glock 9mm in the streets. And we don't talk about that. What are your thoughts on that? Either of you. Either one.
I mean, criminals totally listen to the law, right?
Make some crimes,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, if it's as easy as putting a law in place to stop something, it would have already worked. Drugs wouldn't be on the street. Crime wouldn't be on the street. But it doesn't work. They're going to find a way around it, whether it is to steal firearms that are already out there or create other havoc. What is it? Ireland? There was just a big stabbing. And so there's it's going to happen in one way or another. Evil still exists.
Sure.
It's not the item's fault. It's the person behind it. And I think we've got to figure out how to address that first.
So are these, is it a political pursuit more than it is a principled pursuit then to go after a specific type of firearm? I mean, I would imagine that if we're talking about ARs, that you could talk to me about other firearms that are still legal that could do the kind of damage that they claim that they're
or more
ridding the streets with. Like what? Maybe you shouldn't say it out loud. Maybe Illinois will be like, put that on the list.
There's bigger calibers of rifles that actually are more effective. But they targeted the AR style or the AK style because those are the biggest, flashiest ones out there. It gets in the most press with they're doing something, even though the number of people killed with a rifle is less than people killed with a hammer every year.
It's absurd. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing where the court case. You said mid-December, so there's action.
There's oral arguments, I believe, on the 12th, and Judge McGuinn, which is the judge over right in East St. Louis here, he says he will have a decision before the first of the year.
Wow. Stand by, folks, because we will be covering that for sure here on the Annie Frey Show. Katie and Jesse Johnson with STS Armory in studio. I endorse them, and we're so glad that they sponsor us here on this show. And I have been a customer of theirs, my family, as I recommend them to everybody in my personal life, and of course to you as well. We have been working on a little bit of a project, and it's practical prepping. It's an episode that's going to be uploaded on Saturdays on the Annie Frey Show podcast, and it's basically talking about reasonable readiness. And we're going to discuss that a little bit when we come back, including I'm checking the YouTube comments right now. If you have any questions directly for Katie and Jesse, I can field those in the break here as well. And we'll see if we can get some of them on the air. We're going to take a quick break. Katie and Jesse Johnson with STS Armory in studio with us, talking about the latest in the laws in the state of Illinois, as well as some things that you can do that doesn't cost you anything and things you can do that require a little bit of an investment. We'll discuss that when we come back. Don't go away.
Our eyes are smiles, you know it could shine on through all the good that we do for the people that don't have it so good. The light of Christmas shining through. Our eyes are smiles, you know it could shine on through all the good that we do for the people that don't have it so good.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show.
And I'll show you the way.
It's football season, and the NFL is in full effect on the free Odyssey app. We're heading into the final stretch of the regular season, and the playoff picture is starting to come into focus. Whatever team you're rooting for, the free Odyssey app has you covered with the local talk and your team's podcasts. Plus, listen to play-by-play of every Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night game from Westwood One. If you're looking for the NFL, it's all on the free Odyssey app. Download it today and search for your favorite team. That's AUDACY.
Hey, Bernie Federico here. Over the years, you've heard me talk about Lakeside Renovation and Design. My friends Matt and Dan have been in the business for over 25 years and have done everything on my home, from James Hardy siding, Infinity from Marvin Windows, and even a couple of room additions. These guys are great, and you can trust them with your home. Check out their website to see for yourself all the beautiful work they've done. You can find them online at lakesidrenovationanddesign.com. Be sure to ask about their unbelievable financing options. Lakeside Renovation and Design.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
Is your car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My mechanic just suggested an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover repair bills if anything happens to the car. New brakes, transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait, you pay nothing on repairs? Ox gets it fixed? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance?
Yeah, you don't pay. Ox pays. Ox even has a 30-day money-back guarantee and is A+ rated on the BBB. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike those other warranty companies.
The last thing I need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-224-9174. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care. 800-224-9174. 800-224-9174. Or go to oxcarcare.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Save up to 20% on a new HVAC system when you bundle it with attic insulation. 9 out of 10 homes are under insulated. For a free estimate on attic insulation, visit aircomfortservice.com.
We've gone out a few times. You ready to put a ring on it? Download the Odyssey app and listen to 97.1 FM Talk on your phone or by telling your smart speaker to play it. This is St. Louis's home for conservative talk. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
Show. Katie and Jesse Johnson with STS Armory in studio. My friends, you can go online to sts-armory.com and get connected with them. We were talking in the break about how many people, even you get referred to from other area businesses that they're like, you need help with your FOID card, go see Katie and Jesse at STS.
All the time.
And you're able to walk them through the process. You don't need to know anything coming into the store.
Nope, I just need you to have the driver's license, the correct name and address, a debit card, credit card, check to pay the state, and a cell phone that can receive emails and text messages, and I can knock it out.
That's fantastic. They're located in Pontoon Beach. I'm a customer there, and I encourage you to check them out as well, especially this holiday season. Before we get to the idea of readiness and prepping, which I encourage you to go subscribe to the Annie Frey Show podcast on Saturdays. We're going to be uploading episodes we've already recorded. We're going to be working. We've got a list of other things that we want to talk about in the future. Would love your suggestions on that as well. But subscribe to the Annie Frey Show podcast to make sure you get those. Gift certificates are a big thing for people this holiday season, and I'm sure that it's not as easy to just go buy someone a gun and be like, here, rip it up. There you go. But you guys do gift certificates. You have great pricing on the stuff that you have in your store. What are people shopping for right now when they come into STS for the holiday season?
Biggest thing is the gift certificates, T-shirts, coffee cups, our coffee, and pepper sprays make great stocking stuffers. So they're kind of getting that small stuff, and then you'll have people order different things.
There's accessories too.
Correct.
I've purchased from you guys like an ammunition bag.
Yep.
Something nice to, and I've had headgear, so the sound. What am I trying to say?
Earmuffs.
Earmuffs. Is that what you call them? The ones that you can still hear it blows out the low frequencies, which is it. So
it mutes it when its sound gets loud enough. It just cuts the sound off.
But if you were in a scenario like when we talked about it originally with you guys, like if you put them on and you were in your house and there was someone in your house, you'd be able to hear the shuffling of their feet.
Mm-hmm.
And if the bang goes off, it wouldn't deafen you for a second. Like if you had to fire, you'd still be able to hear, you'd still be aware. If you're hunting, I'd imagine it's nice to have something like that kind of ear protection on. So I've purchased that from y'all. Ammo, of course. I've looked at different types of shelves, like discrete shelves. And also knives. You guys have knives.
Mm-hmm.
Just everything that you could dream of, STS Armory can hook you up for it. I think that preparing, I've had people in my life, a couple of people specifically that have been customers of yours and who have taken your classes, your conceal and carry classes, great gift for the holiday season, who have started to think about being more prepared for anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what our podcast has been about. Do you guys think about, do you think about preparing all the time?
Not normally.
Because you're prepared.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it now.
It's that simple. Do people come into you and ask you those questions about being ready, or what are people seeking out initially? I would imagine firearm is probably pretty high up there.
Firearms training, knowledge. A lot of them, they're coming in for knowledge, whether it is for preparedness. Mostly it's concealed carry, the laws. Sometimes it's just come to see the kids and the dogs.
Yeah, no kidding. It's a fun place when you visit. Jesse, give me some of the things. We've talked about this in our podcast, so people are going to be able to get the full episodes on the Annie Frey Show podcast. But outside of firearms, which is a very obvious thing that you would want to have in the event of an emergency where you can't rely on other people to come help you in a timely fashion, what are other things that you encourage people to look into to be ready for a weather event? We've talked on our show, we talk a lot about EMPs and stuff like that as a hobby. But it's not just that. There's a lot of things that could go wrong.
The big things is, having a source of water, having a little bit of food sitting there, not worrying about that, hey, there's a tree down across the street. I've called in town and they say they'll get to it sometime the next couple of days and I can't get to the grocery store. Having enough just to say, you know what, I'm not going to panic. Mm-hmm. I've got enough to get a few meals. The kids are going to be happy, they're entertained, and I can get through this next few days without a problem.
I think Katie, when as a mom, that also kind of shifts your thinking too.
Mm-hmm. They don't eat as regularly as adults do. But having formula, if you're a mama who's feeding at that stage, and you live on formula, you got to have backups, and at least one or two of which has been hard, especially through COVID and through the shortages. And having supplies, diapers, all that good fun stuff. A little bit of extra never hurts. And sometimes it's hard though.
Because as adults, as a mom or a dad, you can deal with the discomfort, but you're not going to want to be sitting there. Like, formula is the big one. Mm-hmm. And this is really what has pushed me into it. And this has been a year of growth for me. The formula shortage that took place, Molly was 10 months old when the news started coming through that there was a formula shortage. We would always have one backup can, and it wasn't because we were prepared for anything. It's because you don't want to go to the formula can because you need a bottle and it's empty. And you're like, oh, crap. Now the baby's going to scream while we have to go pick up the next formula at Walgreens or whatever. So you have one. When you open the next one, you replace it. So you just kind of have this revolving replenishment. But we got to 10 and a half months and we were searching for formula. If you can't get to it and you have a baby who's relying on that formula for life, that just puts you in a whole different mindset, as well as water in a jug for the formula, which might be another thing that people don't really think about to be prepared.
And when we're all used to just turning on the faucet and having clean water, if something bad storm blows through and blows things over, you might not have that option. So having a little bit of storage of water, a gallon or two at least, or a way to clean it easily.
Yeah, it's so important. And this, some of the stuff that we go through on these podcast episodes, and what the first one that we did is a little bit longer, but the other ones we're trying to make it super consumable so you can listen to it on your way to and from the grocery store or whatever, and you're like, okay, now I know something. Now I've learned something. When it comes to firearms, if people are coming in for the first time to purchase a firearm, they probably want it for different reasons, home defense. Do people come in and immediately like, I need a gun to carry? I mean, that's a little bit down the road from I don't know what I'm doing.
It happens quite a bit, actually. I want something to carry on me to protect myself. I've been watching the news. I need something with me. So that's one of the first questions I ask. What do you intend to do with it? What do you want to do with it? You want it for home defense? Do you want it to go to the range and have fun and plink? Or do you want it to be able to carry? Because that has to do on size and caliber.
How do you guide them, Jesse, when they come in and they're not 100% sure about what direction they want to go, or if they're just... You had mentioned like a woman who has a spouse who's traveling. Same thing with a man. If you're on your own and you got kids in the house, or you just want to be able to protect yourself, what kind of questions do you ask people when they come in to help guide them to what's right for them?
Back to the purpose. What's your budget? What size can you comfortably shoot and carry? Because everybody's hand sizes are different. I mean, what works for me doesn't necessarily work for Katie, and vice versa. So, and it drives into trying a few different things out, getting your hands on them, and then working from there to figure out what's going to be the tool that's going to be the most effective for them.
So when we have these discussions about preparedness, the episodes that we've done so far, one is on document preparation. And Katie, you brought that subject up, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm pretty prepared, but I hadn't really thought about that. Another one that we did was on medical knowledge. Do you guys provide education at STS Armory that can help people if they're like, oh my gosh, I do need to get into this? How do you guide those people?
It just depends on how in-depth they want to go. Do they want the surface level? I just need to know what I don't know yet. Or they really want to dive into it. There's different resources to look into for classes depending on which area they want to go. And then we also have options in store for medical kits and then document storage. We have some of those in store to be able to use as well.
What do you offer as far as classes go? I know, Jesse, we were talking about the conceal and carry class. Are you full for December?
I have a few openings in the very end of the month between Christmas and New Year's. We added that class because pretty much everything else is completely full with a wait list.
With a wait list. So go to sds-armory.com or give them a call. Is it 931-GUNS?
Mm-hmm.
Off the top of my head. 618-931-GUNS if you want to call them. They're closed on Mondays. But get in and get that spot open and get your education for your conceal and carry if it's required. But also you do provide classes outside of just conceal and carry.
Correct.
That like training.
Yeah. So we do like a what's next class. You got your concealed carry permit. It's great. It's 16 hours. I can't teach you everything in 16 hours. So especially for new shooters. So what do we do? How do we get to the gun? And then we do it in a concealment fundamentals class. How do I hide the firearm on me? How do I make it disappear to where I am completely concealed and comfortable with it on my person?
Which is required in Illinois.
Yes. Yep. And then pepper spray. We do a pepper spray class and teach people how to properly use pepper spray.
That's great. And you were talking, Jesse, about how they're small classes.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? Is there a requirement on class size? Does it have to be a certain?
No, we cap ours at 16. Pretty much 16 is that you get more one-on-one time with the instructor. It's a smaller group. It's easier to ask questions. You don't feel like you're being that person because I have a question I want to ask, but there's 45 other people that want to get through here and get out of here. We cap them at 16 on the conceal and carry class. Some of our other classes are smaller. The what's next class is capped at absolute top 8 because you're going to get a lot of one-on-one time with working that gun out of the holster on the target and then back in the holster. Because we want to focus on the student getting the most out of the class rather than trying to get a bunch of people through there.
Sure. That's really important. And I have close family members who have participated and raved about the experience. And they talked about how both of you, Katie and Jesse, were so knowledgeable and good at instruction and creating a non-intimidating environment so that people can learn. And you're not just going to check the box to get the 16 hours and the qualification. You need to learn while you're there. Take it seriously. And they were talking about how good you were at that, how you did take it seriously, but you were helpful and good at guiding the process so that people who participate can actually learn and they want to come back and do more. So
I appreciate that. We work hard to that. That's what our love and our passion is to be able to convey that knowledge in a non-intimidating way, keeping everybody safe. And we have fun learning too. We like to take classes ourselves.
that's great. Well, before we let you go, sts-armory.com, holiday season, if people are looking for the right gift for somebody, I know that we are doing some Christmas shopping with STS Armory. What can people, maybe some suggestions of things that they might want to check out if they don't know exactly what to get the person, but they know that the person would love something from STS Armory?
The pepper spray, it's an easy gift. The coffee, we just got some new limited edition coffee cups in. It's just basic stuff. We carried, there's so much stuff in there we're able to carry right now. And if they can't figure it out, a gift card. We've got gift cards, and they can then let the person pick what they want.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you, Katie and Jesse Johnson, the owners of STS Armory, online at sts-armory.com. I love recording these podcasts with you guys. It's helping me be more comfortable. Like you said, that's my favorite thing about this conversation. I asked you if you think about preparing all the time, and you guys are like, no, because you're prepared. You don't have to worry about it. If you aren't prepared, you're starting to think to yourself, gosh, there's a lot that I have to do. We're going to help guide you in a simple way to do things that are practical for you so that you can be prepared. And of course, if you ever have any questions, you can call the store at 618-931-GUNS and visit them online at sts-armory.com. Thanks for being in here today.
Thanks for having us.
Great to have you in studio with us. Let's take a quick break on the Annie Frey Show. When we return, we'll get the results to today's YouTube live chat poll. How has the 2023 economy affected your Christmas preparation? Positively, negatively, or not at all? Go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and vote. Leave a comment. We'll feature your thoughts and get the results when we come back. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Well, there's a very good chance as you've driven down your street, you have admired houses in your neighborhood that have been covered in Rhino Shield, and you don't even know it. Except if you pay close attention, you'll notice that they're not being repainted every couple of years. What I mean is same bright, vivid colors that you would choose with regular paint, except that Rhino Shield lasts, and you're going to get a 25-year warranty with it. I've got it on my house, and I mean it. It looks like it did the day they put it on. It lasts and lasts. It's lab tested to last that long against chipping or peeling or cracking. And they put this on businesses as well. Condo units from Springfield, Illinois, all the way down to the Lake of the Ozarks. You can find it. And my friend Darren will be happy to come over and give you a free evaluation of your home. All you have to do is call him. Tell him you heard Mark Cox talking about it. 877-25-RHINO or online at 877-25rhino.com.
AirComfortService.com, the website. It's cold outside and you need to be warm inside. That comfort zone. There's nothing like right now, you know what I'm talking about. If you've got your Christmas decorations up, I hope you do. When you are sitting down inside your home and everything looks beautiful and you sit down in your chair and you're just warm and comfy and cozy in your house. That's something that you might not be thinking about. You're not like sitting there going like, I really have strong feelings of affection towards my furnace. But I want you to think about that because when you don't have that comfort zone, you need to call Air Comfort Service so you can get back there as fast as you can. When you're outside in the cold and you come inside, you want it to be warm. You want it to be cozy and comfortable. Air Comfort Service will get you into your comfort zone quickly and make sure that you have that effectively working furnace that's not overworking itself. You're paying for the energy to keep it running all of the time. You're paying for it, but what are you getting out of it? Reach out to Air Comfort Service at 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. If you have any concerns or issues with your furnace, or if you know, like we did a few years ago, I need to replace this furnace and I need to go with people I trust. We trusted Air Comfort Service, and I encourage you to do it as well. If you don't want to take my word for it, check out all of the amazing Google reviews. You'll be very happy to see that they are lauded for their service and their products. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
Hi, it's Guy from the Good Feet store. Listen, if you've been suffering with knee, hip, or back pain, I've got news for you. The problem may be right under your nose. I'm talking about your feet. Think about it. Your whole body is supported by your feet, right? So if they're out of alignment, that could cause issues, not just in your feet, but your knees, hips, even your back. The Good Feet system helps put your feet in your ideal position. And once you do that, everything from there on up just might work better. I'm sure you've been frustrated trying all kinds of things to relieve a foot, knee, back, or hip pain, but maybe the solution was right in front of you the whole time at the Good Feet store. Just stop in and meet with one of our specialists who will personally fit you with the perfect arch support system. They'll let you walk around, try it for free, then you decide if they work for you before you buy. How great is that? Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations in Creve Coeur and Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeetstlouis.com. Find what you've been missing at the Good Feet store.
Mark Cox here. I've got an idea. Let's all go to Italy next spring. I'm going to the Amalfi Coast next spring with my friends of conservativetours.com, and you can go along as well. We'll cover Rome, the Amalfi Coast, Puglia, the Isle of Capri, the Abbey of Monte Cassino. It may be one of Italy's best-kept secrets. You know, I've been to the Amalfi Coast before. It is without a doubt one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. While you're there, you can take a high-speed jet foil over to the Isle of Capri, which is a site that everyone needs to see. Positano is absolutely beautiful. Sorrento is just gorgeous. You'll get to visit the ruins of Pompeii as one of your side trips if you go on this trip. It's $53.67 a person. That includes your airfare from St. Louis. Call them toll free at 888-733-9494. It's 888-733-9494 or conservativetours.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
The vote is in. STL Today has certified the result. Onderlaw has been voted 2023's best law firm in St. Louis.
When you're injured, call Onder Law at 314 or 618-900,000.
While no child should have to spend the holidays in the hospital, there are many at SSM Health Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital who will not be able to experience the joy of opening gifts around their tree. Please join 97.1 FM Talk and give the gift of hope and healing to Cardinal Glennon kids and support the Tree of Hope year-end giving campaign. Your gift ensures these brave patients can continue to receive the critical care they need during these challenging times. Thank you for giving at treeofhope.org.
Guys, one final segment here of the Annie Frey Show before we wrap it up on a Monday and hand it off to the Mark Reardon Show. But before we wrap things up, you guys need to go on the YouTube live chat poll and vote. How has the 2023 economy affected your Christmas preparation positively, negatively, or not at all? Go vote because we're about to go and share the results when we come back. This time currently is 2:49. This update is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Ian Scher from CBS News. Is there finally going to be something done about the inability for those of us who have iPhones to communicate with Android users?
Yeah, I saw some pigs flying outside just a minute ago. It's amazing.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Your eyes follow like a spotlight, 2 eyes like the sun. Go ahead, keep your distance from me. Soon you're gonna call.
When you flick your hair like you don't care, and you ask me where I'm from.
That game that you're running, baby, you've already won.
I need to know what you need.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
You can be cool.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Quite a packed show today. Had to do a little bit of an audible at the beginning of the day as Ryan had a scheduled day off and Brad wasn't feeling great. He is working on getting better. Hope he is back tomorrow. But we didn't make the best of it. Ethan, you did a great job.
Oh, I thank you.
Thank you for being here and stabilizing the ship. Leah worked her tail off and did a fantastic job as well. Very grateful. We got a great team here. I'm just very excited about it. Friday is the big Brian Kilmeade event. We had Brian Kilmeade on at 1:25 today. So you can check the podcast out and you can hear what we had to talk about what's going on, the protests, the division that exists right now in this country over what's taking place in Israel, but then also his book, Teddy and Booker T, How Two American Icons Blaze a Path for Racial Equality. I can't wait to have that event on Friday and see him and see y'all at the Christmas. It's like a 971 Christmas party. I'm excited about it. The YouTube live chat poll for today: how has the 2023 economy affected your Christmas preparation, positively, negatively, or not at all? Ethan, do you have any strong thoughts on this poll? You said you did all the big boy things and planned out a little bit of shopping over the holiday weekend.
Yeah, for me personally, I think that I would probably say very little to none. But I think a lot of that has to do with the current state of life that I am in. I can see how this Christmas, when, having kids, multiple kids, and, actually having to provide, multiple gifts, more than just like one gift per family member, how that could completely have an effect on a family, on parents. So I would say personally for me, not nearly as much, but if I'm 5 years down the road, 7 years down the road, and it's the same situation, I could very much so see how it would have an effect.
Yeah. Well, I'll read here. Q Irv says on YouTube, I replied as not at all because I had already told the grandkids, 9 of them, congratulations to you, very blessed, going from 3 gifts to 2 each before I retire in a few years. We budget for Christmas all year and watch for sales. I think that a lot of what we have heard from people, kind of like what Wavy here has to say, the poll, the economy sucks on all capital letters, but I refuse to allow it to affect Christmas, which is his kid's favorite, in any way. We are preparing, enjoying the season, holiday, and living lives as normal. Merry Christmas. There are a lot of people who are in a position to take the blow. So if the economy, everybody has repeatedly said today, prices are up, things cost more. It's kind of become something that you've had to absorb over the course of time, a bit of a slow burn as prices do go up. We talked to Steve Moore at 1:05. You can hear that on the Annie Frey Show podcast if you missed it and you want to hear it. But we're talking about how inflation is, last year at this time was up 9%. Now it's up 4%. And how that's an improvement. But he said that's like saying that your 103 temperature is down to 101. We still got a concern. We still got room to fix it. It's good if you can absorb the impact and still be able to maintain the holiday celebration the way you want to and still be able to enjoy it. And hopefully we continue to see those inflation numbers move in the direction that they've been moving. But the amount of spending that we're doing, and folks, listen, it's not like if you elect a Republican that we're going to stop spending all this money. Well, Republicans spend way too freaking much money also. And everybody needs to get their heads right on this issue and cut spending so that we can get our fiscal house in order as far as the economy goes for the entire country. All of that, there's a lot of stuff we can do to stimulate the economy and bring some of these prices down. The question I always have is, will they lower the prices or will they raise the profits? I don't know. We'd have to wait and see. But I'd like to be in a position to find out. The YouTube live chat poll for today: has the 2023 economy affected your Christmas preparation positively, negatively, or not at all? Let's see, 9% said positively. So good for you, 9%ers out there. MBS of you.
I want to do what they're doing for work.
Yeah, I would say that it has affected us negatively in my household, but it's just had to be much more mindful about where the money is being spent. It's not a crisis situation, but definitely needing to be mindful. So 9% said positively, 30% said not at all, and 61% of you said negatively. So I'm praying. This is the parting gift that you didn't ask for. This little piece of advice, encouragement to join me really in not thinking of Christmas gifting. This is not a concept that I've come up with. I'm just becoming more aware of it, that gift giving is not about monetary value. And the gifts that I have given and the gifts that I've received that have been the most impactful have nothing to do with the amount of money that was spent. It's the understanding, the knowing of the appropriateness, the timing of whatever the said gift was. And many times it's an experience. It's time spent, and time is precious. It is the most precious thing that we have. And so if
you are feeling a little bit of a pinch here, consider the time that you could spend taking somebody to lunch or going on an excursion of some sort and being with somebody and dedicating the attention and the time to someone, because I definitely feel like that's where the win absolutely is. Thank you for being with us today. Brad should be back tomorrow. We appreciate you being with us today. Mark Reardon up next.
America, sweetheart.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. Well, that was a fast weekend. We'll get caught up here after Fox News. Also, a USC professor has been banned from his classroom for what he said about Hamas. We'll have details on that coming up.
Attention business owners. This is John Souza, CEO of ERTC.com. The Employee Retention Tax Credit Program provides up to $26,000 per W-2 employee. If you're confused about the ERTC program, stop right now. Don't fall for false promises. The bottom line, there is no such thing as guaranteed eligibility. Being innovative with taxes can lead to an audit. All ERTC companies are not the same. The easiest way to know if a company is non-compliant is to ask one simple question. Is the CPA working on my file a W-2 employee of your company? If not, stop right now. Contact ERTC.com. IRS compliance is not an option. At ERTC.com, everything is done in-house by expert CPAs, and there's no cost to get started.
Get your free refund information now. 800-200-4230. 800-200-4230. 800-200-4230. That's 800-200-4230.
Let me tell you about this new product that's out there that is perfect for the holidays, perfect for gift giving, and super easy to purchase. Sound Story. Go to mysoundstory.com to find out more. It is a professionally produced hour-long conversation in which you or one of your loved ones